Yo, what is going on, guys? This is the 4th Gen Gamer here, along with 4 other beautiful people. Welcome, everyone, today to the first Indigo Plateau podcast, the return of the Indigo Plateau podcast, here hosted by the Elite Four Pokemon stream team, who is ready for this amazing... Pulse, are you okay?
No, I'm cold.
I thought I saw you like beating your meat or something under like this giant like blanket, dude. Like, if you gotta go, man, do what you gotta do, dude.
All right, I'll see you guys next time.
The ultimate snuggles. The ultimate snuggles. We're gonna do some more in-depth intros in a minute, but if you guys want to say hi really quickly, we have SCf3.
Hi.
We have JustPlayPokemon.
Hello!
We have PulseEffects! And we have StephOfAnime!
Hi.
Like I said, we will do more in-depth introductions very shortly. But yes, welcome everyone to the Indigo Plateau podcast, not the Indigo Podcast Plateau. This is a podcast that actually, Ali, you pretty much founded with the Elite Four when Ali created the team years ago. And we are bringing it back because we love talking. We love sharing ideas. We love talking about things, and we want to bring it back. So this is being hosted by the Elite Four, ! E4 in the chat. If you guys do not know, the Elite Four is now relaunched. If you know what the Elite Four is, this is a Pokemon stream team on Twitch, which is pretty much a big, awesome group of people that all have the same goal. In this case, our goal is to bring you guys awesome Pokemon content, to bring you guys really entertaining things and awesome things and fun things, and this is just one of those things. The Elite Four has been relaunched for about a few weeks now, and this is our first big event, so thank you guys for coming and joining us and hanging out with us as we are bringing this back. You guys are awesome, and we really do appreciate that a heck of a lot. With that being said, before we go into each member, you can see in the upper right-hand corner here, you can tweet questions at us at any point. We will be going through all tweeted questions at the very end of this podcast. So tweet it at Elite4TV using the hashtag IP. It's in the upper right if you forget about it. If you think of a question later on, we will be answering all questions at the very end. So you gotta stay. You gotta stay until the very end. It's gonna be worth it. So with that being said, we're going to have... I need to do some things, so I'm actually going to skip me just for a second. Pulse, why don't you give us, like, maybe 30-second rundown. What do you do here on Twitch? Who are you? What are you all about? What do you love about Pokemon? Just give us a little introduction, people that don't know you.
Well, I have a pretty huge addiction to not only coffee, but Pokemon speedrunning. I'm currently going for as many world records as I can on the Pokemon speedrunning leaderboards. I already have the Pokemon world record for Ultra Sun and Moon. I'm gonna actually get both of them, the old 3DS and the new 3DS. Getting the Fire Red one, and sky's the limit from there. I do everything from Gen 2 all the way to Gen 7.
He's a nut. He's an absolute nut. Elliot, I love you. Can you tell me how audio is? Because I think Discord's crazy, and it's hard to make everyone sound good. And Pulse, if you could raise yourself at any point, that would be wonderful. If you guys know who I am Josh, or the 4th Gen Gamer. I do a lot of stuff on YouTube and on Twitch, a lot of Pokemon stuff. I've actually been dabbling in a little bit of speedrunning as well recently, which is really awesome and a lot of fun. And yeah, I love doing lots of unique things with Pokemon. Cutthroat Pokemon, new series launching today with StephOfAnime. It's gonna be really good. A bit louder. All right, cool. Actually, I am. Okay, I will do that. Thank you, Elliot. I appreciate that. Next up, we have the initial founder of the Elite Four, but she doesn't want anyone to know that.
Hi.
The elusive SCf3. How are you doing, Allie? What do you all tell the people? Share with the class.
Okay. Share with the class. Hi, I'm Allie, also known as SCf3. Yeah, Elite Four comeback. Podcast comeback. God, it's pretty hype. So that's cool. In terms of me, I mean, I've been streaming for like 4 years now, which is crazy. Do a lot of Nintendo games, retro games, Pokemon. I mean, I love Pokemon. It's my favorite thing ever. I really like Gens 1 through 5. Those are my personal favorites, but I've pretty much done anything you can really think of with Pokemon, like randomizers, speedruns, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not too much else to it.
Very nice. Mr. Just Play Pokemon, Robbie.
Thank you for having me. First of all, appreciate it. Welcome back to the Elite Four. It's good to be here. Very excited to be here. As far as myself, I've loved Pokemon since I've been a little boy. Pick Pokemon Blue, pick Bulbasaur, and the rest is history. I've played every generation. I've enjoyed every generation. I enjoy Wonderlocks and Wonder Trading and Shiny Hunting the most. And I've been streaming for about 4 years myself. Also got plenty of YouTube content, everything from Mario to sports games to Let's Plays. So I'm just a gamer at heart, and I got passion for community gaming.
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least, the StephOfAnime.
Hi friends. I would like to describe myself as the most dysfunctional Pokemon player in the entire world. So I love Pokemon. It's my favorite thing in the entire world. I love sitting and hanging out with you guys. I do really weird things because I think of things in what I like to call the Stepha way. So instead of defeating the electric trial normally, I just keep reviving a Drifloon and kill it with an aftermath just because I don't know, why not? So I love hanging out with you guys and having a good time and talking about anime and Pokemon. So like Pokemon fits within the realm of anime, which is my biggest passion ever. So that's what I love to do. Before we get started, I also wanted to throw a little bit of information. This is live on Twitch right now, so we do have a chat, and just know that alerts are off just to keep the flow of the podcast, but we do see you guys in chat. So if your alerts don't go off, we still love you and appreciate you, but they won't be going off on the stream. And again, if you have questions that are for the podcast, tweet them at us. But again, we can still answer you guys in chat. So we're not ignoring you. We see you, my friends. And I love you guys. So that's it for me. And I'm just excited. We have a lot of cool things to talk about. So yeah.
We do. I'm going to go over to the promos just for a second because I got to make some quick Discord adjustments. Someone tell a funny joke or like a story or something.
I've got a funny joke. It's
perfect.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Are you
an owl?
JPP. Boo.
All right, the floor is yours, my friends.
Right. I think that's good.
Oh my God, we just pulled up a joke? Wait, no, I need to hear a joke.
Do we pull out the jokes? All right.
Yes.
He has a book
After
of
a
jokes.
dentist spent her life fighting tooth and decay, her colleagues made a statue and a plaque in her honor.
Oh my God. No! Oh, this is on my channel. You're not allowed. No. Go away.
That was the best thing
Oh
ever.
my goodness. Elliot, text me updates as we go. I adjusted some things, so just text me updates, boo-boo. Now, before we go into the topic a little bit, also as a heads up, not only the alerts, but we will not really be talking with chat a whole lot during this. We're going to try and type in chat if we have something to share. But the best way of getting to us and having us interact with you guys is to tweet us questions. Like I said a minute ago, in the upper right, make sure that you tweet questions at us at Elite4TV using the hashtag IP. And that is how we're going to get to talk with you guys nice and easy. If we all talk with chat, then we're not going to really get through the topic too fluidly. So just as a heads up, we will be trying our best to talk with you guys via text though. So keep an eye out for that. With that being said, we're going to just briefly introduce the topic here. As you guys can see, the topic is the state of the Pokemon community. So we're going to be going into quite a few different, I guess, ideas of this. We're going to be talking about the past, the present, the future, and specifically, like, what are our hopes going forward? What are our reflections from the past? What do we expect to happen? Any predictions? Gen 8 is coming. We have a lot to talk about Gen 8 and how that will affect the community as a whole when it comes to how creators make content, how it is to become a Pokemon streamer or a Pokemon YouTuber, etc., and just a ton more. So with that being said, I think a great way to start this off is to very simply ask, what is the current state of the Pokemon community? Use your own interpretation. I think we should go with the Siri method with who should answer this. We should do a random number generator. We're gonna go starting with Ali 1, Robbie 2, me 3, Pulse 4, Steph 5. All right. So everyone, get your answers ready. You might get put on the spot.
So
Right.
wait, I'm going first?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
We're gonna generate it though.
No, you assigned a number.
It's gonna be
so
random.
That's your number. And you can-
oh, it's gonna be random. Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
Pick a number 1 through 5.
It's 2.
All right, Robbie.
Oh.
Sorry, Robbie. Someone has to start it. What is the current state of the Pokemon community? What would you answer if someone asked that to you? There's no right or wrong answers.
I think it's complex. Okay, I have been very vocal about how I've felt about the latest games and the prior games even. I think the biggest thing is that community-wise, it depends on what platform you're using. For Twitch in Pokemon, like we're on right now, I feel personally it's been a very good experience for me over the past, let's say, year or so. YouTube, not so much. That's been a difficulty for me. And I don't think you can blame that as much on a community as a platform. We can get into that at a later time, I'm sure. But as far as the community itself, I think right now versus a week ago is even a huge difference. Because before the new games got announced, I feel like the community was bored. I think bored is a good word. You know, everybody raced through Let's Go, got that done, and they were like, all right, what's next? And, you know, kind of took off, played some other games, did some other things. Totally fine. A lot of people are just gamers at heart and not only Pokemon. But for the people that are super, super into Pokemon like us, it's a bit up and down. It's a bit varied. But when the new games were announced, everybody comes swarming back. That's kind of what happens. I think it's pretty cyclical when new games come out or when they get announced. Everybody starts playing again. Everybody starts getting into it again. Then the new games come out and they're out for a while. I think overall it's better now than it was a week ago.
Yeah, definitely would have a different answer. I can see that. All right. Should we draw another? Should we pick another one out of the hat? We'll do 1 through 4 this time. Take out Robbie.
Do it.
Pick a number 1 through 4.
The answer is 4.
All right, Steph.
That's me.
That's you.
Ooh, okay. So the current state. So I actually agree with Robbie's sentiment about how the community feels a lot different now than a week ago. Because I personally feel that, like Robbie said, like having a new game announcement, all of a sudden brings people closer just in having something to talk about and get really excited about together. So I'm going to give 2 answers. I'm going to give my before the 27th and Pokemon Day and after, because right now I'm really excited and I'm very hopeful. Just it's really nice having just even it's one trailer. There's not a lot to the trailer just yet, but just that idea alone that there is a new game confirmed. We got a region, we got starters. That's enough to get people theorizing and doing trailer analysis. And I love that people can come together and no matter how into Pokemon you are, you can start a discussion because even people's levels of interest in itself is a topic of discussion and it really gets people excited. So I think right now we're starting to bring people closer together and more like tight knit than what it was. I feel with Let's Go, Let's Go's features not being the best for replayability made it so like the community felt a little more distant just because people had less to talk about. There were less creative things you could do with Let's Go. So I feel just, after like a month of content, there wasn't really a lot to talk with people about. There was only X amount of Pokemon, 151, and there wasn't too much to really talk with people about. So people started drifting into like other games and whatnot. So that's my input right now on the current state.
Sure. I'm going to take the torch. I will say my answer for this, to a lesser extent now, because of the new game announcement, but I would say lost. Overall, I feel like the community is very lost. Compared to, 2 years ago, I feel like there was a very common, sentiment among the community. But now, Ultra Sun and Moon kind of made the community a little more lost. I feel like now with Let's Go, just like what Steph was saying, we're super lost now. Even when you look at, the series that Robbie and Elliot and I are doing, the Team Rocket Tri-Op, that's only like my second time playing through Let's Go, and we're running into Pidgeys and Rattatas like 2/3 of the way through the game, and it's like, with such little diversity in Pokemon, it's hard to really enjoy the game even just a second time. Even that series, we're playing it blindfolded and all this other stuff, and it's still kind of like boring in terms of the selection. And I think overall that's how we're kind of lost as a community, in that we don't really know what to do with Pokemon right now. We don't know what games to do. We don't know how we can play more than once or twice a week, without just getting really burnt. And I think at the same time, it's a good thing that we're trying out new things and exploring new avenues. But in terms of the Pokemon community itself, there's really a lack of direction. Now that Sword and Shield are announced, I think that's to a lesser extent, but you give it a few months when people aren't talking about starter speculation on stream and stuff, it's like, we're still kind of in that lull until Sword and Shield, I think, really gives us a more firm direction, which I think that's something really about the Elite Four, is that we kind of quell that lostness at least just a little bit by doing cool things like this. But either way, Allie, Pulse, one of you guys pitching?
I mean, I pretty much agree with all of what you guys are saying, because I feel like just from reading chat and hearing what you guys have to say, like there's definitely, at least like for the topic of this podcast, we're kind of specifically focusing on like the content creation perspective of it, right? And what we notice on Twitch and YouTube. But I think also it's important to consider just like, the general Pokemon community, like feelings in general, at least from what we've seen. And I mean, kind of just to echo what you guys said, it's like, I feel like, X and Y, Oras, and like Sun and Moon, I feel like, at least from a streaming perspective, like those games are really fun. The community was really tight knit then. And, it was a fun time. There's a lot to do in the games. And then, like, as you guys kind of said, Ultra Sun and Moon and then Let's Go kind of like dropped a rock on top of everybody, basically. People were burnt out, streamers and viewers alike, I think. And just in terms of content and streams and YouTube stuff, and I appreciate people that are like you guys trying to like innovate and do new things with what we have, but it definitely, I think, burnt people out, even though like Ultra Sun and Moon and Let's Go were really hype at first, and with Let's Go that brought so many more people into it because you can stream from the Switch now. There's no more huge barrier to entry to stream 3DS games, which is great. But and this is all pre-Sword and Shield announcement thoughts, right? So yeah, like Ultra Sun and Moon and Let's Go, like they had the initial hype, and then everybody just was like burnt down on it, kind of done, and people are just like, oh, like I hope when the next games Game Freak does blah 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 blah. Insert my dream list here of stuff, and then kind of like post Sword and Shield, everybody's excited. There's the speculation videos everywhere, the analysis, on Twitch. Like, I mean, I'm sure all of us have discussed the trailer in depth, like on our channels and stuff. And now we're just like back in the good old news cycle of like, new game gets announced, then they do another trailer and E3 and blah 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 blah. Let's see if they announce the whole game before the game even comes out. But I guess in terms of like content creation stuff, I think Sword and Shield, I think it'll definitely do better than Let's Go on Twitch and YouTube. In terms of like streamer and viewer enjoyment, I think a really big thing that people, and I've talked about to you guys before, is in terms of the games, like a lot of it is like post-game content, right? That's what keeps sort of, at least for streaming wise, a lot of people like to do the post-game stuff because it's very repetitive, like shiny hunting, battling, blah blah blah. So it really depends on that. And then I guess from the YouTube side, like, I mean, if the game has more content, you'll be able to do more with it. So that's my ramble.
Yes, very good. Now, Pulse, you're kind of like on the Venn diagram in this, like with speedrunning community, Pokemon community. You're like in that little middle slice. What is your perspective on the current state of the Pokemon community?
So going on the speedrunning side of things, we're always going and heading towards the older games because retro's where it's at. Whenever you think of speedrunning, it's like retro. We got to do the old ones. Every now and then we do the new ones, but they're just so long and they hurt your hands because of all the freaking cutscenes. And with Let's Go, there was so much life given to it, and it's still growing. It is actually, I think, one of the most active speedruns in a very long time. With that said, though, it's now dying off a little bit, for sure, and it's sort of, I think it's plateaued at this point, but overall, I definitely agree with you guys. It's been very, very scattered. People are very lost, burned out, and I think at this point, we're all just waiting on something new and refreshing.
Oh my god. Plateaued, yeah, Indigo plateau.
Ha ha ha. I agree. Speaking just real quick on the speedrunning stuff, I mean, I agree with you. Because, like, I mainly run, like, gens 1 through 3. And then, I checked out Let's Go, speedrun-wise. But then I got really burnt out on it just because, I mean, I agree with you. It's long. It's not... longer isn't bad. But, like, it's a lot longer. And the motion controls and all that sort of stuff.
The size doesn't matter.
Wow.
But like with the motion controls and stuff, and like it's basically just a rehash of Gen 1. Like, and I've already done tons of speedruns of Gen 1. Like, again, it's just like I agree with Paul. You want something fresh, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's awesome initial thoughts going into this. Thank you guys in chat. I forgot to mention that. Please feel free to give your own answers to questions or parts of questions. You know, it's really interesting to hear your guys' thoughts as well, because not only is it a podcast between the 5 of us, but it's a conversation with everyone, including you guys watching. And if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe you don't watch Twitch that much. What's your perspective, that looking in it from like a YouTube perspective? Let us know in the comment section as well, because that's also going to be really interesting. With that being said, another reminder, guys, ask us questions, tweet them at us at Elite4TV using hashtag IP. It's in the upper right hand corner. So if you want to do that, that would be awesome. Feel free to do that, because questions are great and we love answering them. With that being said, we're gonna look a little bit more into the past right now, a little more into like a reflection sort of thing, the past like few years as we look back, because to understand the current day and to understand the future, I think it's cool to, you know, take a look in the past, see what has happened, you know. Let's see. What is the last 5 years of the Pokemon community to you, and what kinds of phases has it gone through? Because I feel like we all agree that the Pokemon community, you know, it has its phases, its peaks and troughs, you know. Does anyone have like a passionate answer? Does anyone have like from the last like 5 years, something that they felt changed? Because I definitely do. I think honestly, I was gonna say, if there's someone who I think will have a very passionate answer about trends in the Pokemon community and roller coasters and stuff, it's JustPlayPokemon.
I have.
I know you're itching. You're itching for this question.
I gotta get it out, man. I got to get the demons out of me. No, it's really good. I will say, this is speaking strictly from a content creation standpoint, not from a overall. The creation goes with what the community thinks of the games and the excitement and the passion for the games. I do think they go hand in hand. But I'm speaking first from a content creation standpoint and then get into the community part. Number one, X and Y were the games for me. The games, 100%. So I'll get that out of the way. They were my favorites. They're still my absolute favorites. And they were the best for creation because not everybody swarmed in on the game. So I was able to do some things from a creation standpoint on YouTube and then on Twitch that were unique. I was able to be the first in line to something. When that happens, your channel does pretty well. And that's what happened to me. That's why I'm even here on Twitch right now, is because of X and Y, because of getting to Wonderlock and getting to do something unique and special. So creativity was important, but also being the first to things. And it also hit gold because everybody in the community, bringing that in, was really excited about fresh new games, new generation, new technology, all that stuff. Oh my God, that game looks amazing. That's what we used to say about X and Y. Now we look at it and we're like, oh, that's cool. You know, it's been 5 years. We're used to it, right? That was for me, the first phase was everybody was excited. You could put out almost anything on the new games and it would do really well and people would enjoy it. And they just, you know, feed me. I want more content. I couldn't do enough. I remember days recording with you and with Elliot and with Raz and just tons of fun. That was the big peak. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire did pretty well for me. They were okay, but they didn't achieve that same hype as a brand new game. Stop me if this sounds familiar, Sword and Shield. So that's the big thing that I'm excited about with Sword and Shield going through. The issue that I had was when we got Sun and Moon. It deviated a lot from everything else that I really enjoyed personally about the games, and then it was like, all right, sweet, we're gonna get a new game. Maybe it'll be cool. Oh, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. This is a little bit different. This is cool, but you know, we didn't get anything fresh and new until really right now. That's a 2, 3, 4 year gap. I mean, that's a lot. So that's kind of the phases it went through. I think really big excitement for brand new stuff, and then holdovers. We're just kind of holding ourselves over, staving ourselves over content creation wise. And then the community kind of gets into that aspect too, because it's a reflection on you. When you're excited about a brand new thing, they're going to be excited about it too. And I think those things all go together. And I would say real quickly with Let's Go, I loved it and I still love it, but I totally agree with Ali's sentiment about the post game. I think that's the big thing where, as a content creator, again, a game can fall on its face real easily if you don't have things to do over and over. I've already gone back to not shiny hunting as much in Let's Go, for example, and am starting to do triple hunts on older games because there's more to do there. So it's a weird spot. Pokemon is a 40-hour game, but you're finding that a lot of people, community-wise, and the viewers want to play longer games or want to be able to replay games and still enjoy them and feel like it's a fresh experience. So I think it was hype, a little down, plateau, no pun intended, and then we're just kind of staving ourselves off until we get back to that kind of X and Y, or even for some people, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon hype of like new things. Let's play with new things. So that's where I think it's gone in the past 5 years. It's been up and down. I think we're just getting ready to see an up again.
I think there's a lot of truth in that. Does anyone want to chime in before I?
I have something, but you go first.
Okay, yeah. So I feel like there's a big parallel here. I've talked with Elliot about this. We're in Gen 5 again. I feel like Diamond and Pearl when they came out, and Platinum and Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Diamond and Pearl is to X and Y as Heart Gold, Soul Silver is to Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, where a lot more people were getting back into Pokemon after Gen 3, if I understand correctly. Like, some people kind of got out of it out of Gen 1 and 2, right? And then Gen 5 came, and I know so many people, myself and all of my friends included, got out of it. Not a lot of people played Gen 5. That's why Gen 5 has a bad rep with some people, is because it just wasn't really a part of their childhood. Just like we have Sun and Moon is to Black and White, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is to Black 2, White 2, where we're kind of we were at the end of the 3DS, just like we were at the end of the DS. And, you know, I feel like Sword and Shield is going to go back in the cycle to like an X and Y sort of situation where it is that new game. It is on a new console. It's something really fresh. And yeah, exactly what Elliot said in chat there. Like, we've talked about this countless times. Like, you know, so many people just dropped after Heart Gold, Soul Silver because they just did. You know, they grew out of Pokemon. And I feel like, I don't know if people grew out of Pokemon like age-wise in this case with Ultra Sun and Moon and Sun and Moon, but just interest-wise, because it just didn't capture them as much. It's like, I already did X and Y, I already did Oras, like, do I really need to do Sun and Moon, let alone Ultra Sun and Moon? And I really feel like we're going to get that resurgence, especially with, like, really a console that's converged now. You have the handheld market and the console market both into one. I think that will cause a massive explosion, just like Diamond and Pearl, and also with X and Y. I think that's going to be really big. And honestly, looking back, I think it's important to draw those parallels. Allie, do you have anything?
Yeah, so I guess going off real quick what you said, I definitely see, like, there's a lot of things with Gen 5 on, like, why, like, on one hand, a lot of people love it, and on the other hand, other people are like, eh. But that's a whole nother, I guess, like, topic. I've kind of talked about it on my stream, but just, like, really quick, I guess, just to go into it. Like, you know, it was on the DS again, which the 3DS was kind of out by this point. And, like, in terms of Black and White 2, like, 3DS was coming out or about to come out at that point. I forget. And it kind of is people growing out of it, and whether that's age or interest, you know, a lot of people that grew up with it. I mean, at that point, I was in like high school, I think. So like, I didn't, you know, I played her and then came back to it with Black and White 2 and Gen 6. Yeah.
Just repeat the last, like, you played blank because the Discord cut out.
Oh, did I cut out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I was saying, Black and White 2 came out, or Black and White 2 came out around either a little bit before, like, you know, when the 3DS was coming out, which, you know, didn't have people interested in it. And then also, too, you know, people got out of it because of age or interest. Like, for me, I was in high school at that point, and I loved Heart Gold Soul. I love Gen 4. And then, you know, just life happened, and I kind of got out of it. And then I came back to it with Gen 5. Yeah, I came back to it with Gen 5, and I love Gen 5 personally. I think Gen 5 is the peak, the last peak of Pokemon. Or, yeah, I think it was the peak in terms of content and features. Like, I don't, you know, whatever you feel about Gen 5, whatever. Anyway, that's my opinion.
Make a podcast on Gen 5.
Yeah, I could. I just think, like, it was when Masuda and, like, the team, they had, like, so many ideas and, like, potential and ambition. And then once they saw how not good Gen 5 did, they're like, let's make the game easy. Not necessarily. That's a little making it black and white. Haha. But anyway. Sorry. Anyway, back to the actual question. So, yeah, last 5 years of Pokemon community. So, like, my story's a little bit similar. At least, like, for me, I guess for me personally, and just, like, speaking from, like, a Twitch perspective, I mean, I got into Twitch when X and Y came out. Like, there were so the people that were streaming X and Y when it came out, they had like, this was like when I first learned what Twitch was, and they had like thousands of viewers, and it was so huge back then, and it was so fun. I love Gen 6 because I really like the post game. It's not the best story, but anyway, whatever. Continuing. So yeah, it was like X and Y was a big boom, and then ORAS was when I got into streaming Pokemon, and that was the first 3DS Pokemon game I streamed. And, you know, ORAS, I would say, did like pretty well. Maybe not as big as X and Y, but it's like, you know, people still kind of liked it. It sucked that there wasn't a Battlefront tier. And then Sun and Moon was like so hyped up when it was coming out because it looked so different. And, you know, there were a lot of good quality of life updates, but then also some not so great things. But in terms of streaming Sun and Moon, like, yeah, Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon definitely aren't my favorites, but I can still appreciate them for what they are. And I feel like streaming them, at least, like maybe besides like SOS, like I had a lot of fun doing battles and, you know, different kinds of shiny hunting and stuff like that. But then Ultra Sun and Moon happens, and this is where people are just like, you hit like a wall.
Robbie right now.
Yeah, you hit a wall, basically, essentially, because it's like, in this day and age, I've talked about this on my stream, but this day and age, like, it's 2018, 2019, whatever this game came out, 2017. Ultra Sun and Moon, this might be controversial, I don't know, but like, that should have been DLC. Like, in this day and age, that should have been DLC. Because, like, don't get me wrong, my favorite Pokemon games are the third versions. I love Emerald, I love Crystal. Those are my two favorite games of all time. But, like, yeah, slap another $40 on it, or $80, or however much more you pay for it, however many copies you buy as a streamer, you know, slap it on there, and you're like, well, I have to buy this because I got to stream it. Well, you also enjoy it.
It feels, just to jump in real quick, I feel the exact same way. I feel that so much.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel like Sun and Moon I was excited for. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, it was just kind of like, from a creator's perspective, it was like, well, I guess I got to do this again. And it wasn't, that comes through in your content, whether you try to have it be a thing or not. That was my kind of,
like, I guess on the bright side, the bright side of it, I guess, with it being stagnant, people tried to innovate more because, like, what else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
So that's cool. So then Ultra Sun and Moon happened, kind of hit a wall, and that's when, like, you know, I saw somebody in chat earlier say, like, oh, well, you know, people rush through the games, that's why they get so tired of them quickly. But, like, that's not it. Well, at least for maybe streamers. Like, I mean, there's some streamers that rush through the game so they can do post-game, and that's fine. But that's not really the core of the problem. The core of the problem is, like, you beat the game in, like, a normal amount of time, and then in terms of post-game or replayability value, like starting a new save, like, you know, with Ultra Sun and Moon, I didn't want to do that because it was, like, cutscene city. And, like, I like cutscenes in games, but not in that game, because it was, like, point A, cutscene. Hold your hand to the next part. Cutscene, point B, etc.
Yeah.
Pulse might like that for his bathroom breaks on his speed runs, but we don't.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I can appreciate what they did with Ultra Sun and Moon and Sun and Moon. But so that you know, community kind of hit a wall for, like, streamers, viewers wise, in terms of burnout. And, you know, once, like, it was between, like, Ultra Sun and Moon and, like, the Let's Go announcement. Like, I know a lot of us have, like, you know, we still stream Pokemon, but we also tried and branched out to other stuff, which is awesome. And it got people kind of, you know, discover yourself more in terms of content you can do, which is great. And then Let's Go happened, and Let's Go was, like, hype for, like, a couple months, and same thing happened. The same thing that happened with Ultra Sun and Moon. Like, literally the only post game in Let's Go is Master Trainers and Shinies, and I like doing that, but, like, you know, it's not a lot. And also somebody said in chat too, you know, battlers got screwed over in that game, which kind of sucks. But yeah, I think with these games we're gonna see another, like, renaissance, hopefully, kind of how, like, X and Y was. I really hope. But that's my ramble. About
the words of Elliot, Galactic Elliot. If we'd have a sixth person, man, I would love to have Elliot on here. X and Y was the Reformation, and Sword and Shield Gen 8 is going to be the Renaissance. Like, historical lesson.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I will say, I think Ultra Sun and Moon shouldn't have been DLC. I don't think it should have been 2 games. I think it was worthy of an Emerald or, like, a Platinum. Even in 2018, 2019, I feel like that's fair.
Well, because Game Freak's not going to do DLC because they're a little outdated. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, sure. Steph, Pulse, if you have anything to add, if not, we can move on to the next. Anything that hasn't been echoed.
You know what's something interesting? I'm hearing people talk about the idea of Pokemon Eclipse. And you know what? It's interesting because I honestly feel that just having a different name than just adding Ultra in front of Sun and Moon, I feel like psychologically would make people feel like it's a very differentiated game and experience.
Eclipse.
Like, it's really weird, but I honestly just thinking about a game called Pokemon Eclipse versus Ultra Sun and Moon, I feel like just that in itself would make people appreciate it. Yeah, honestly, because that's like adding just like a deluxe or like a one word to it. I feel like it can be like some like interesting. Like, I don't think it's great marketing, but at the same time, you do get the recognition of the other game. But I think for like innovative, content, it doesn't work so well. I have, in terms of like the last 5 years of the Pokemon community, I have a really interesting story because I've been a fan of Pokemon for my entire life and throughout all the years. But in terms of coming to Twitch and YouTube and finding communities who also love Pokemon, that for me didn't really start until Gen 7. Before Gen 7, I was like a Reddit user and I would go on Reddit forums and like that was how I got my communication with fans. Like
same.
I would do like the SV exchange to get like shiny eggs and like, yeah, Allie gets me. But so so from my perspective, again, even though I came in sort of late, I almost feel like that's a testament to a brand new game, i.e. Gen 7, can really explode the community. And like, since Gen 7, like I have made so many friends, so many connections, learned about so many different things about Pokemon that I didn't before, that it really gives me hope for a new game. So I'm really excited to see what's going to come, because while I have not experienced the lulls of the other generations, just from Gen 7 to now, I feel like there is some merit in the experience that I got from seeing a brand new generation really cultivated a community, a lot of content, a lot of really fun things. And then, right now there is a lull and it does feel more lost, disconnected, and we'll see what happens. So that's my 2 cents on it. And yeah.
Retweet. Pulse, you got anything?
I think I do. I'm gonna actually feed a little bit off of what Allie said, and I have a bit of a hot take with how things have gone with the Pokemon community. So I think we weren't ready for Gen 5 as kids, because it was at a time where we were sort of growing up and getting a little bit just burned out on Pokemon in general. And I think a big thing that was the downfall of Gen 5 was just how good it actually was. And I think that Gen 5 games are actually the best games, and they are actually so good that they're bad for the Pokemon community. Now that doesn't make sense, of course, but when you look at it at Gen 6, they simplified the formula and made you appreciate what little things that you could actually do in the Pokemon game, like shiny hunting, just a lot of like wonder trading, a lot of cool new features, and they condensed the story and just overall gave you just something to look forward to in terms of these really awesome features in general. And they grew upon that a little bit. But I think over time, eventually we reach going from Sun and Moon to Ultra Sun and Moon. We start getting features taken away from us. And in replacement, we get these features that aren't as good. And eventually they get a little bit boring. And then you release what I'd like to call probably one of the biggest blows to the Pokemon community, which is Ultra Sun and Moon. And by then, people are playing through the game and they're like, this is the same game. This exact same game. There's nothing extremely new here. Maybe a couple of new features here and there. But I think overall, they toned it down a little bit too much and gave us less than what we wanted. And I think for the Pokemon community to strive, we need more. We need more, and we need the old features that we loved to actually be added, like DexNav. Let's go with chaining. Anything fun that like just makes the game last longer. Like I had an idea actually that
PSS.
But I had an interesting idea where like obviously we saw sneaking in Gen 8 if you guys missed the Sword and Shield sneaking. I think that may be potentially coming back to some of the old ways that we used to do shiny hunting and such. And I think they're probably I think again as well that this is going to be definitely a renaissance, because I can see so many different ways it could add to the series. I think one of my ideas that I came up with as well is, if we had, like, a lot of people were complaining that there's no overworld encounters, but I think if they had one condensed area like a Safari Zone, where you actually Safari Zone, it was the original Pokemon Let's Go. And so I think if they brought back overworld encounters there, put some put overworld encounters there, bring back the Let's Go system in that specific area, I think that would add another fun new feature. And I think that is actually what we really need. We need longevity. We need to actually give people more ways to just make the game longer than what it is. And I think that's what's going to make the community grow at this point.
So going along with that real quickly, and I'm going to ask Josh this because we just talked about this on a video that's on your YouTube channel. I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what all of us kind of want out of the new stuff is fresh but familiar. Mm-hmm. Not a complete departure from what we've seen, but something that feels refreshed. But we've done this before, but we want to do the new thing more.
I don't know, Robbie. I gotta disagree with you. I think we need Kanto. They did decent, but I feel like they could have done Kanto another year. They could have done maybe like Let's Go Mew and Let's Go Mewtwo. They could have made the graphics, maybe made it in just a better engine. Revisit Kanto a third time. Maybe we can name it Ultra Let's Go. We could just do Kanto all over again.
And then for post game, we go to Alola.
No, but fresh is going to be very important. Something that is nostalgic in a weird way, where it reminds you of your love for Pokemon. Fresh ideas, new things, good stuff. 100%. Now, next up, I have a good question anyone would like to answer. What is the best thing that has changed in the Pokemon community in the last few years? So Allie's eyes just light up like...
I thought of something immediately. I kind of already mentioned it. But in terms of, since we're kind of talking about this from like a content perspective, I think it's a good thing that, don't get me wrong, like I love the days of streaming on the 3DS and the 3DS games, because that was when the community was like its most tight-knitness or whatever, like the closest. But I will say something that I personally think is good is that the barrier to entry is lowered to be able to make Pokemon content, at least in terms of the new games. Obviously, I'm glad they're on the Switch. I'm glad you can literally just go on Amazon, buy a Switch, buy the game, buy a capture card, easy, GG. No more dealing with Katsukitty, rip. No more dealing with Loopy. No more dealing with Murky. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're great, but I think it's good that the barrier to entry is lower, because that means more people can do this. It means more competition, so that means all of y'all watching and us need to get our crap together and be like, yeah. So yeah, and like, I mean, just in general, I guess maybe this isn't really a change, but all the people that you meet through the community and that start streaming or start making YouTube videos, and you get to know them. And over the years, like, there's just been so many people I've been able to meet through this. So I think I'd probably say those two things definitely, and also 3DS streaming's a headache. So yeah. As much as I love the 3DS, but
yes. I would say for me, the best thing is I always preach innovation, and I feel like the last few years have really, as much as they have made us kind of tired of Pokemon in some ways, or made it harder to make content, I feel like that's forced us to do really creative new things in the last few years. Cutthroat Pokemon, doing like the speedrun teaching series with Pulse yelling at me, Team Rocket Tri-Op, and so many series that just I've done, and the random warrior trade battles that Robbie came up with. Like, there's so many cool ideas like shiny races, and even Ali doing like the randomizer bingo streams. Like, I feel like we've all had some creative take at Pokemon because we found ourselves sitting in a place where we're like, hey, I've had this game for 6 months. Now I need to think of something new to do with it if I still want to keep playing it. And I feel like that's something, especially during the XY or S days, and still to a lesser extent with Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, you know, people came up with really unique ideas. And it's not like that wasn't a thing before the 3DS era, but I feel like since there were less people watching, there were less people creating, people were, you know, that's when just like the Nuzlocke was starting to become popular, and there weren't really a whole lot of variants. There was just a lot of, you know, Let's Plays, and there's nothing wrong with a plain Let's Play. Let's Plays are fun, but I think it's really cool when you have a challenge for people to make something really cool to create and watch, you know? So that definitely, I think, is one of the best things that's happened. Yeah.
Yes, speaking on the barriers to entry, I thoroughly remember, and I've shared this story with my stream before, but just to give you an idea from a creator standpoint, I planned my whole channel on YouTube around the release of X and Y. Okay, so I went and I ate ramen for like a month to be able to save the money up for my job to afford sending a capture card or a 3DS in to get a capture card so that I could create content for X and Y. I got it 2 days before X and Y came out, and things went really well. But that whole process reminded me of how much it takes to get in there, and people widespread still don't know as much about how you capture 3DS, 2DS games versus the Switch. So to Ali's point, I mean, now there's going to be a ton more people coming in, and there's going to be more competition. And if you're a competitive type person, or you want your streams or your content to do well, you have to manage your expectations, and then you also have to make sure that you're one of the unique people and the people that helps things rise to the top, right? The best people will usually, generally, do the best on these platforms. So now that there's more people there, you have room, and there's a lot of opportunities that are going to be created by the new games for people to get their message out there, get their content out there. And I think that's a good thing.
Definitely. 100%. I want to move on to a more challenging question. What is the worst thing that has changed in the Pokemon community in the last few years? Dun, dun, dun.
I have a statement. I can't speak for, you know, again, I wasn't in the Twitch and YouTube community, but I guess compared to even just last year and now, I feel people get really negative on social media about Pokemon. Like a lot of times it's like unjustified, or it's trying to make a statement like for the attention of it, and I don't like seeing that. And that's just compared to literally when Sun and Moon was out to now, the amount of like negativity I see of people just trying to like attack the games, or like attack the community, or say there is no community, or just very divisive statements. I don't like that. I don't like that. I think that the community is still here, again, even if it's lost. And I think there's still a lot of really good people and good things to talk about. So that makes me upset. That's my only sentiment that I have.
I feel like people jump to conclusions way faster now.
Yes.
And like in terms of negativity with like every gen and stuff. And I think that's just like, unfortunately, like that's kind of just how the internet is in a way. But, you know, it's like the vocal minorities, you know, make themselves heard the most, right? But yeah.
Right. Right on. I agree. I definitely agree with that. I think that probably is the worst thing that's happened, is that there has been an increase in divisiveness, like very polarized opinions and whatnot. Which is what's beautiful about this podcast. We can sit down and talk and not be divisive about things, you know? Even like, you know, Ali and Robbie can think that Ultra Sun and Moon are more DLC games, and I could think they're more like an actual third installment, but we can sit here and talk about it and disagree, but not be at each other's throats about it, or say that Pokemon's dead because we disagree about it.
Differing of opinions on the internet automatically means you have to block each other, and no. But
Josh, you can just ban me from your stream now if you want, okay?
Exclamation point ban. There you go. No, but I think that speaks to something, Josh. Like, we all have different goals with our content too. So I'm going to be excited for different things with the new games or the old games than maybe Ali or Steph or Pulse. You know, we all have things that we're looking forward to. One, just as an example, I did not like the Festival Plaza versus the PSS. Some people may feel differently. I really miss being able to dex nav for stuff. I miss, it was kind of unfortunate for me that wonder trading wasn't a thing in Let's Go, for example. I'm really hoping that certain things are in the game that affects what content I'm able to put out on the new stuff. So we all have different goals and different ideas. The important thing to remember is that, the idea of community, like people that get on the internet to just hot take all day and to do that stuff, it's not the greatest look for our community. I think we need to be able to have discussions instead of arguments.
I agree. Yeah, boy. Okay. Move to something a little more lighthearted. What is the most fun memory you've had in the last year or two doing Pokemon? Allie, do you not have fun doing Pokemon? You look Monka-esque.
No, I'm trying to think. There's so many things. Well, I'm immediately in my head.
Fun. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. Why is that the fun you're talking about?
I was like trying to think because there's so many things. I mean, I guess to be like kind of cheesy, but I guess I guess like I can't pick out one thing because one, I have a terrible memory. But two, I guess yeah, it's gonna sound really cheesy, but I guess like everything that we've done with the team, from the beginning up until now, and everybody that was a part of it and was involved with it, and all the viewers that really like what all of us are doing, and it's kind of crazy. I think I mentioned this maybe to Josh before or something when we were plotting, bringing the team back and stuff, but it's something people really care about and something people are really attached to. Not only us as individuals, but us as like a group or a community, right? Like, kind of there's, we have like a, I don't want to say little, but like we have like our own little community that like, people watch like, either all of our streams or, some streamers on the team. And it's just something I never thought, like I didn't go in with the intention of that happening, but it's really cool that something like that organically happened because there's so many people that I've met through like my own streams and your guys' streams and, viewers that maybe I wouldn't have otherwise met if, let's say I do a multi with Josh or something or Steph and, and they're like, somebody's like, oh, who's this person? And, you get to know them and it's wholesome and all that sort of stuff. And, going to conventions and doing like the Pokemon meetups and meeting everybody. I guess that would be, I can't pick one like specific instance on my stream. I got like short-term memory loss, dude. Like, I don't know.
All right, Joey.
Yeah, I would say like all of that, I guess.
Robbie, favorite memory, most fun memory?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Ali there. I don't think I can pick one. I think the memories that are my favorites are the ones that involve the group or the community, people being excited about stuff, people being happy about stuff. And again, I agree with Ali in a big way there, because when I first started on YouTube with the Pokemon stuff, I was thinking in terms of, not as a selfish way, just me, but I was thinking in terms of, okay, I don't even know if anybody's ever going to want to do stuff with me. Like you're very uncertain and not very confident as a content creator. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll give this a shot and see how it goes. Boom, Elliot helps me out, introduces me to Josh, introduces me to Raz, introduces me to all these people. And that was the beautiful thing about it, is that's why we're so passionate about the community, is because of stuff like that. My best memories are FFAs with the Fab Five, or is Cutthroat Pokemon, is doing Wonderlocks, is the stream, is people sending me messages or tweets saying that I made their day, or that I was able to help them, inspire them to be better people, or better, that they had really a lot of fun, that I was the best part of their day, or our streams, or our content. Like that's where my favorite memories lie. It's just, at the end of the day, we all love video games, we all love Pokemon, we all love having fun and laughing and joking and having a good time. Any of those times where I go in with where I go in with a, if I'm in a bad mood, I'll stream and it turns completely around. Like that's a pretty cool thing. Anytime that you can make people happy and enjoy the content that you're putting out and you enjoy it at the same time, it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Mine is definitely launching Cutthroat Season 2 on stream. The amount of excitement in the chat after months of hard work, it warmed my heart. When everyone saw like Pulse was revealed and Steph was revealed, and everyone was like, holy Pulse is on Cutthroat, what the it was great. That's got to be my favorite memory. Pulse, what about you? Oh, he said nope. Wow, that messed up everything. All right, we're good.
Oh God, hello.
Hello. What? Do you have no good memories?
Can we pay?
I had to dip. Pokemon communities killed me.
Man, if we gotta get you counseling or something, let me know. You know, this Pokemon's really fucked you up that badly.
Pulse, you rip in the chat, please.
Favorite memory, most fun memory in the last year or two.
I had it, and then like
Leaf Green world record.
I think
Ultra Sun and Moon world record.
I think it's been the moments where I introduce people to a different side of Pokemon and they actually enjoy it. Like every time, whenever I saw you, like part of it, definitely.
That's wholesome.
Like, I love it.
Oof.
Oh,
now Steph left.
Wow.
All right, guys, the state of the Pokemon community. It kills people.
Yeah.
GG. Steph looks a lot different now.
Yeah, a little more cartoon-like.
There we go.
I think for me, it actually goes both ways because I not only have I introduced people to Pokemon speedrunning, but you guys have introduced me to just something different because I've always been the speed guy, you know? I never really like took the time out of my day to like actually do like a playthrough that wasn't me just going through the game for a couple years now. I did used to do Nuzlocke back in the day, but it's just so different. And then yeah, going back to Cutthroat though, definitely. But again, just all the new things that I've been introduced to and I've been able to introduce other people to. It's amazing. I love it. That's the best part about Pokemon. The sky is the limit. It's an adventure. I love it.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna slide in real quick, but I think this is something maybe Josh said, or maybe something we said, but like the cool thing with Pokemon is like you can do, like the beauty of it is, in streaming and content creation in general, you can do like what you want, you know? Like you don't just have to do one thing, you know, like Pulse is really into like speedrunning, you know, I like doing, you know, randomizers and speedruns and blah, 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 and some people just like shiny hunting or competitive battling. That's kind of the beauty of it, right? So, you know, everybody kind of has their little niche or niche, however you say it, which I really like. So that's just something, another good thing.
100%. I had something and then I brain farted. Steph, what was your most fun memory?
I think I'm going to echo with what a lot of people say here. Definitely making the friendships and getting to bond with everyone is 100% up top. If I'm going to actually break it down into like content and streams, I do have two answers for that. But again, for me, it's definitely making friends, being a part of a community, like being a force for good when there's a lot of not good in the world. Like that makes me feel really good that we can have a little corner on Twitch where we can just appreciate each other and just have fun and it's chill, you know? But in terms of two specific streams, I would say it was for TwitchCon 2017, I did my first ever like Nuzlocke, like sleep lock, and that was for like a diamond randomizer. And that was like my first big marathon stream. And like I had a lot of fun. I was doing something brand new that number one, a randomizer that I'd never done before. And number two, it being a Nuzlocke. So there was a lot of memories. And because of how long a stream it was, I really felt like I got to know a lot of the people who hung out with me for 20 hours. Like that was insane. So that one. And then second, I think definitely doing the Cutthroat the marathon on Twitch, just because it was a similar thing. I feel like when you do a really long stream and you have like a community supporting you, you really get to know the people, and like it just becomes like a team bonding event. Like even like again with all of the viewers, and if I was doing it with other streamers, like I feel like it's like you go to camp for a week and then you bond with the people you meet at camp. So those are the two memories that stick out for like the exact same reasons, except one was by myself with my community and then one was with other streamers and their communities and my community, and like I love that. So yeah,
the coolest part about that was too, like I didn't know you or Pulse very much going into season 2, and then we all got to TwitchCon and I felt like I knew you guys even though I'd never met you, and that's like the effect that this thing can have. Right. I think that's so cool.
Right. Okay, I want to make sure we keep things on track, so we have one more little topic until we move on to current day and then the future. So just to make sure we keep this rolling and going in like a minute or less. The last question is, what is the most important lesson you've learned specifically while recording, streaming, or planning Pokemon-related content? That's a tough one. Steph, we started with Allie and made our way to you. So now we're going to start with you and work our way to Allie.
All right. Okay. Wait, can you say the question one more time so I can make sure I answer it in full?
Can you use it in a sentence?
What is the most important lesson you've learned specifically while recording, streaming, or planning Pokemon-related content?
Okay, I definitely got this. So for me, it's definitely, Pokemon spans a lot of years. We've been talking about the past, the present. We're going to start talking about the future. There's a long time. And I think it's the biggest lesson I learned is to not take it personally that people will come and go in your life, in your content journey, and you never want to make people feel guilty for leaving, because I've left communities as I've grown as a person, as a content creator, where it just doesn't fit who I am anymore. I just come and go. And, I think back to a lot of the people who were in my community, a year ago who aren't there. And it's to not get discouraged by that and to understand and to remember that you did make an impact in somebody's life at the time that they were around and they did for you, right? And it's vice versa. It's not just one way. And so not taking that personally and just, appreciating what you have in the moment is really big and important. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Pulse, what is the most important lesson you've learned specifically while recording, streaming, or planning Pokemon-related content?
That if I really try hard enough, I can get really, really good times. If I try really, really hard enough. Back in the day, I would do these really slow strategies, and I thought to myself, this sounds dangerous. But then I went back, and I went back to Emerald, a game that I just did not care, but I was like, this is boring. This is not Fire Red, And I went back and I did YOLO ball manips into Abra, catching that in a YOLO Great Ball, getting no encounters all the way from Rival, from the Mudkip bag all the way to Rival 1. And I think that I proved to myself that I could do stuff that a lot of people and just didn't believe in me.
That's beautiful. That reminds me.
I believe in you, Pulse.
We believe in Pulse.
Put hashtag I believe in Pulse in the chat. That reminds me of a lesson that Robbie taught me back in the ORS days. This is not my answer, but actually, I have two answers. These are both the most important lessons. Robbie has taught me that, do you want it or do you really want it? Are you willing to put in the time and the hours and to do something that you wouldn't normally do? I always can never explain it perfectly, but the way Robbie always explains it, it's like, do you want it or do you really want it? Will you take the time to go past months and months of work if something doesn't work and do it again and then do it again and then do it again and again and again and again? With that being said, my original answer is definitely patience, and that goes with that same sentiment. Patience, patience, patience. Pokemon content creation requires patience. I'm not talking about doctor's office patience. I'm talking about time patience. You have to be ready to have a really, really good idea and then to put all of your time and energy into it, and then no one cares about it. And then you have to get back up and do it all over again, just like what I just said. And that's really important, is to have patience. Not everyone's going to like everything that you do, and that's okay. You have to be ready for that. You have to be ready for months on end that you need to have patience. And that's okay. That's just how the Pokemon community is. You have to have patience. Like I said, not doctor's office, but time patience. Robbie, most important lesson?
Well, first of all, I appreciate that.
You can restate the lesson that you've always taught me too, if you.
Well, it's take care of who takes care of you, but that's an overall thing. Yeah, do you want it or do you really want it is a thing, and I've struggled with it over the years. I think at a certain point, most of us have fallen into being number chasers as far as content, and that's a tough thing. I fell into it. I got out of it. I feel better about it. So that goes along. I have kind of two things in particular. Number one, Pokemon is its own animal as far as recording or streaming. I think for me personally, I was used to putting out something and having a base audience that didn't go anywhere, kind of like Steph was saying, not to take that personally, that they may leave for something else. I'm used to sports games where there's seasons to things. People stay for the whole season no matter what. And it's very regimented and very consistent. Whereas Pokemon is all over the place. And so learning that Pokemon is its own animal and managing my expectations, which is something that Josh taught me. You have to manage your expectations with your content. You can't just expect everything that you do to do amazingly well. And sometimes it's not because you didn't have a great idea. Sometimes it's your timing. Sometimes it's this, that, the other. Don't get in your head too much is probably the most important lesson. And then the second thing, the second most important is don't get in your head too much. First is you have an effect on people's lives. I didn't ever expect to have people hit me up and say, you know, I was going through a really dark time in my life, but I watched you and Josh and Elliot, or I watched Cutthroat, and you guys made my day and gave me inspiration to keep going. I never would have thought that would be a thing, that people would say, you helped me have a better day just because of some Pokemon. So those are the two most important lessons, I think.
Absolutely. Allie, most important lesson. I'm gonna go with my.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I pretty much echo like Steph what you said about community, and then the patience thing. Definitely, you got to realize if you're streaming Pokemon, like in terms of like patience over like time, like there's gonna be times where, like I said earlier, there's lulls. Like we have really big peaks when the games come out, and then it kind of lulls for a little bit until the next like announcements or news or whatever, right? So that's just something you have to keep in mind and not get too frustrated over it. And that's why too, it's also valuable to, you know, try other things while maybe, you know, things are in a lull, right? Because, you know, you can expand and all that sort of stuff. Someone actually kind of hinted on this, like kind of said something in chat related to this that I guess I would say. I mean, it's streaming in general, but like knowing when to like take breaks and like don't try to run yourself into the ground, because if you do, then like, you know, if you do that, then like people are gonna be able to tell if you're like super tired or super sad or whatever, but then your content isn't going to be the best. Like you got to take a step back and then come back to it, right, if you really need to. So I guess I would say those things.
That's awesome. I think we've all taken a lot of awesome out of it, a lot of important lessons, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for sharing and everything. Before we go into the current day, we have something very important to do here. We have something very important to do that we need to settle between all of us. We need to get a picture of the 5 of us for the thumbnail. Okay, so we have to decide.
Oh, this is a good meme.
We have to decide what kind of faces. Okay, Robbie, you can do blindfold. If you want to do blindfold. All right, guys, give us ideas. What do you want us to do for thumbnail? Pulse, yeah, give me like the big eyes, like the Monka S eyes.
This is the behind the scenes, guys. This is how to do a clickbait.
This is how.
Is it good?
Yes. Okay, that's perfect.
Anime.
All right. I'm gonna make like a. Okay.
Wait, I wasn't ready.
Oh wait, I just took it. Oh wait.
Take another one.
Hold on. There we go. Okay, hold on. All right. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, there we go. I think we got a good one. Wait, did we get it? I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Oh wait, I gotta put it on Discord. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna give us 1 second, guys. I'm gonna switch over to the promo image just for a second.
Starters revealed face.
Oh my god.
Listen, if it happened on stream, then it's not unethical or whatever, you know. There we go. It's in Discord if anyone cares.
True.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That is gonna be a great thumbnail.
I like that.
I feel like the blindfold acts as almost like a good personification of us actually being lost, like the Lost Dancer, you know?
Aww. Dude,
Pulse looks scared.
I think we got all of the different representations of feelings in the Pokemon community right now.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Also, we definitely
my mother walked in.
Oh.
That's why he looks scared.
What'd you say, Steph?
That's funny.
I was gonna say we definitely need to write the whole Indigo Plateau hashtag next time. Just that's the thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's some like politics. I don't know what this means.
Oh, I was just gonna go. I was just gonna go on.
Else.
I was just gonna use the Elite Four Twitter account.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
if we did Indigo Plateau and Elite Four TV, then the questions might be too short.
I thought you were searching by the hashtag.
I mean, I can do that, but
Oh, okay, then don't worry about me. I'm okay.
Also, guys, we only have one question on our Twitter account, so guys.
No, we don't.
Elite Four.
I just see 3 of them already.
I got
Steph just posted them.
Yeah.
I
You
only
guys
see
have been
one
doing
on
well.
the.
Appreciate it.
Wait, did they not?
It might be
Elite
the
4?
settings. You might have to search, just because the Twitter's weird.
That's why I thought you had to do it by hashtag. Here, I put 4 in the.
Bam.
Steph, yeah, if you could put all of them in there, that would be great as they come.
Yeah.
That would be
Beast.
awesome.
Together we are a genius.
Tweet us questions, guys, at Elite Four TV using hashtag IP. Go ahead and do that. You could probably just search that has mentions Elite Four TV and then has hashtag IP. Okay. With that being said, we are going to go into current day. Right now, the Pokemon community. Now, I want to do like a rapid fire, and then we could go more in depth. So, I want to make something very very clear here. That these questions will have Pokemon streamer and Pokemon YouTuber or Pokatuber.
Yeah.
Different. Pokemon streamer, Twitch. Pokatuber, YouTube. Okay? So we're going to go around the horn. We're going to go Allie. You guys know the layout, right? You can see it on Twitch. So we're going to go Allie to Steph. Is it possible, is it still possible to become RIP Discord?
My Discord just restarted.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been refreshing. Oh, what the heck? Oh, I see.
Oh, you can't see me. Hold on.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
Okay,
All right,
that
we're
was
good.
weird. It like restarted. Oh, we're probably out of order. My B. Sorry.
No worries.
That was
So-
weird. So sorry. Start
Yeah,
over
yeah, yeah.
again. You said I started.
Yeah, so we're going to start with you and then work our way around.
Okay.
YouTube streamers, oh my god. Xavier.
Counterclockwise or clockwise?
Well, now
Counter-
it's backwards for me. So
counterclock.
you just tell me what order it's in.
It's the same
Okay.
order.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Beautiful.
Okay. I'll be shouting out names anyway, so.
Okay.
Okay. Is it still possible to become a large Pokatuber? Think like over 100,000 subscribers. You know, you could be full time off of it, like large size.
Mhm.
In 2019, from scratch, without any luck or special connections, you just work your ass off. You get to full time status. Pokemon YouTuber, not Twitch. Pokemon YouTuber. Allie, yes or no?
No.
Robbie, yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Yes. Pulse, yes or no?
Yes.
Steph, you're the tiebreaker. The official Indigo Plateau answer.
Well, my answer is it's contingent on if there's a new game. If there's a new game out, then yes, and if there's not, then no. It has to be. That's my answer. Like if you can have the new game, then I think
The question is in
100%.
2019. Like right now, if someone made a channel this year, they will get Sword and Shield coverage later this year. Not that they would become full-time within this year, but within like 2 or 3 years.
Oh.
If they start in 2019, give them like a couple years.
Yeah, I think yes. It's not easy, but I think it's possible.
But full-time status, that's like the, you know, you're making it. You get consistent tens of thousands of views. You can make a living off of a Pokemon YouTube channel. Starting in 2019, work for a few years, like give it like 3 years. Like False Swipe Gaming. He just started a few years ago, and he's like totally full-time now. So
Wait, who are you?
I was waiting
What-
to see if anyone would change because I saw thinking
Oh.
emoji faces. So we got no, no, yes, 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 right? So this is a very interesting question. Elliot's gonna say yes as well. Okay. So, Robbie, you look very polarized. Would you care to share?
I base
Polarizing
this
is
on I base this on a couple of things. This isn't a flex, it's just experience, okay? I have a YouTube channel that has almost 170,000 subscribers. I've been doing that YouTube channel for 8 years. Not 2 or 3, 8. I've had the support and help of the company that I ended up working for as a developer of the game. So that's the other thing, the other perspective. Is it remotely possible? Yes. Is it likely, or is it really anything more than a huge pipe dream for most people? Yeah, that's the thing. I would put it at 1% yes, 99% no. That's just based on my experiences over a lot of different gaming communities, a lot of different platforms, and then in the mind of a developer for games now as well. The biggest issue is the consistency of the content. We were just talking about the last 5 years, and I heard some people say, really there were a couple of games in there in 5 years. It's tough to capitalize on that. I think as a person, you can become better, and your content can become whatever it is to get yourself to that full-time point. But until YouTube starts handing out consistent updates that don't cater to Jimmy Kimmel instead of Pokemon, I don't see it.
That's fair. As a member of the Yes Camp, I think, because this is without the...
I want it to happen. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
I want it to happen for people, but I don't think it's likely.
Of course. I think it's incredibly hard, but I feel like it is very much so still possible, because in a way, it says that in the question, like, without any luck or special connections. I feel like in a way you can manufacture luck if you're smart about it. If you work your butt off to make videos that will cater to YouTube and etc., and then you make your special connections. You make the right friends in terms of like people that you'll vibe with, people that will that you could be friends with but still make meaningful content with. It's very much so an uphill battle, but I do think it's still possible. I think that
just to confirm, you said YouTube.
YouTube.
So it's a reflection on the platform as well.
That's totally fair, and I will say that my answer is definitely more towards the middle with YouTube than Twitch. Twitch, it's more of a yes than mine. Does anyone want to add anything into that before we move on to rip?
Does my Discord reset when I unmute? Sorry, hold on.
No worries.
That's weird. Okay, anyway, that was bizarre. What I wanted to say, maybe I'll just keep myself unmuted. Hopefully you can't hear the heater thing.
I don't think I hear anything, so.
Okay, good. What I wanted to say was like, I mean, I agree. I mean, I'm in the no camp. I don't think it's possible without like, the luck special connections thing. Like, just considering, like you guys said, YouTube is a platform, but also like keep in mind, like, the people that are big on YouTube now started, I mean, like you said, you started like what, 8 years ago? Like the people that are big now have been doing it for so long. And like, this is just kind of a generalization, but a lot of people, it's similarly with Twitch. Some people do it for so many years with like, they don't really see any little to no or very little money from it, right? I mean, not saying you should do it for the money, but, you're just out there grinding for like years and years and years. And, if you started out earlier, you have a bigger advantage because like that's when the platform was starting to build up steam, and now it's so saturated now. So like, yeah, I don't think I'm definitely in the 99% no, 1% yes, I guess, sort of thing. Like you really gotta, if it were possible, like you gotta take advantage of every opportunity or luck or connections and algorithm and all that sort of stuff. But yeah,
that's fair. Totally fair, definitely.
Can I quote something really interesting that I heard once?
I love quotes. Let's do it.
So I went to a Twitch Toronto meetup, a little bit of an anecdote for you. I went to a Twitch Toronto meetup and I got to meet this really awesome person, and their name was Hobbs. And I believe they did World of Warcraft content. I don't really remember, but they were amazing and awesome. And they said this really interesting thing about YouTube because they had been doing YouTube for a while and they had a really big growth period and then a low period, and then it went back up again. And something they said that was interesting about YouTube is that YouTube is about planting seeds. And maybe those seeds will sprout or maybe they won't. And that's why I feel like it's really hard. And I guess, I don't know, is that luck built into the platform? Yes or no? Will that change? But I feel like that's really interesting. And why I'm on a yes is any seed could just, it could hit the algorithm, and depending on what kind of work you put into it and how you structure the video itself, I think can aid that, and that work that you put into it can help that. So I just think that's like a really interesting like perspective to put in. But I also agree it is very saturated and it's not easy to do it either. So I just thought that was cool. A cool thing.
Right on. Okay.
Hold on. I got one more.
Go for it.
So I'm at a two-side of I have two sides of this because I am Pokemon and speedrunning. And speedrunning at this point is actually at an all-time like high in terms of viewership. And I am seeing so many people whoosh up from speedrunning in general. So
liquid Wi-Fi.
For me personally, I think if I put something into it when the interest is like really high, I could probably get somewhere personally. Just because of like the middle ground, and it's also a different side of Pokemon, so it adds like a little bit of uniqueness as well. So it's just again drawing the best of both worlds.
Right on. We're gonna do the same question, except with being a Pokemon streamer. Is it still possible to become a large Pokemon streamer in 2019 from scratch without any luck or special connections? Let's clarify what large is. Let's say like a Elite Four member, like Pokemon Cast, like every stream over like 200 people, like, you know, pretty much one of the top in the directory, right? Is that possible? If you start from scratch this year, you're doing Sword and Shield. Is it a yes or is it a no? Allie. Or actually, wait, no, other way around. Steph.
Yes, easy clap.
Pulse.
Yes.
Me. Yes, easy clap. Robbie.
Yes.
Allie.
Yes.
Pulse. Yeah, give us a clap. What kind of clap is that, bro?
That was great. It was a blanket clap.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Here, I got you.
So I think if there's something common that we could draw here is that it is much easier to grow on Twitch than on YouTube. I think that's that pretty much.
It's a reflection of the platform, though.
Yeah.
I think YouTube has been around, right? Like kind of like I was saying, you know, YouTube's been around. If you started in 2011, 2010, you know, you got this tidal wave of cool stuff. It's been around a while. Twitch has become the cooler thing of the two, in my opinion. It's not to just, you know, totally trash YouTube or anything. I love my YouTube, but I think people as viewers enjoy interacting live with a streamer and being able to get an immediate answer versus the delay and the process that goes into some YouTube. If I can go into the 4th Gen Gamers Twitch chat right now and type in JPP Love or something, and he goes, "Oh, hey, what's up, Robbie? You know, how you doing?" Like, that's immediate. And it's pretty tough to do that on YouTube. Their streaming stuff isn't up to par, in my opinion. So, till that happens, yeah, Twitch is going to be, you know, a big thing just from that alone. It's a basic, simple thing, but I think people like that.
I see a lot of people in chat that don't agree, and that's totally fine.
It's an interesting topic.
Very, very interesting.
Well, it depends on your like definition of like easier like to grow or make it as like a larger creator, because like the thing is, I guess like the mid to large size creators on Twitch, you know, some of them don't even touch how large some of the people on YouTube can get. Like, you know, like sometimes things blow up on YouTube and it gets like a bajillion views, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of different scale, I guess, in a way.
That's
but also
what
Twitch,
I would say.
Twitch is a lot more community oriented. And I think even though Twitch is getting more saturated nowadays with people, I think it's definitely a lot easier to get noticed, because I feel like with YouTube, I mean, with Twitch too, by extension, kind of, you know, you mainly want to focus on like one genre, one area or variety, whatever. But Twitch is a lot more, at least I would argue, based on like your live interaction and your personality and you as your brand and you as your person. While YouTube, you can kind of do a lot like more with it, whether you do like more researchy kind of type videos or it's just vlogs or whatever. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I think it's easier to get noticed on Twitch and maybe grow and become like a mid to large size creator, but it's inconsistent, which YouTube's also inconsistent.
Yes.
So
here's what I would say, and I think this echoes what Elliot's saying with A Drive saying that YouTube is easier. YouTube has a higher ceiling.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
110,000%. YouTube ceiling is immensely higher. Twitch is a small speck compared to YouTube. Twitch is tiny. Compared to YouTube, it's not even on the map. Now, with that being said, you can post, and this is like what Joe was saying. I was actually, Joe and I are on the same wavelength with this. You can post a good video on YouTube every day for a year. Good thumbnails, good titles, everything. You can do that. And there's a good chance that if you just didn't do a couple things right, you will get nowhere. Because YouTube doesn't give a shit about you. Seriously. Which is why Allie and Robbie were no's for the first question. And that's why I understand
100%.
that. On Twitch, if you stream 5 days a week, 6 hours a day, Pokemon for a year straight, you will get very far compared to putting that same amount of effort into YouTube alone compared to Twitch alone. Which is why I think Twitch is easier to grow compared to YouTube. There's a lot of people in the Pokemon community that put in a lot of effort with their streams. And if they were to put that level of effort into YouTube, I don't think they would be getting as far. YouTube takes more strategy, 100%.
Yeah.
If you put in,
I agree.
If you put in the same amount of strategy into both, though, you know, it's easy on Twitch just to. I mean, here's the thing: you will have, you know, maybe for the beginning of your streaming journey, the first, you know, let's say 4 out of 5 days of the week, you only maybe have like 2 or 3 people watching. But then give it like 3 months, and maybe that's like 7 to 10.
Consistency.
And then
Well, there's this thing called a raid, right? You know, that's pretty cool. That the community comes together to do that on Twitch. You know, I was streaming the other night. Steph and Jess, Joe Modo raided me. Boom! Tons of new people come in. My day is made. I'm happy with my experience on this platform. Not because more people came in, but because I didn't have to do anything, which was really cool. Anytime that people come together, it's like, okay, she's going to raid me. I'm going to raid her. Our audience shared. And we didn't do a collab video on YouTube. We didn't, you know, it was easier in that sense. So I love that. And the community focus is a big thing, because then it's all, oh, you're friends with them, I'll be friends with you too. And I love that.
I guess, like, real quick, just to like chime in one last little thing. Some people in chat are bringing up like, you know, start on YouTube but then migrate over to Twitch or vice versa. And I've said this on my stream just as like a general tip, but like to make the best out of like all the platforms that you're on, whether it's like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, Twitch, you know, trying to like, I guess cross-pollinate is the correct term, between all of those with your content is so important, I feel like. And that can also play a part in your growth, whether you focus more on YouTube or Twitch. But yeah.
Interesting stuff.
I think something else that's really interesting, and maybe this is not completely true, but I feel like Twitch rewards like little victories a lot more, whereas with YouTube you see more of like, you either get the big burst and you make it really big, versus with Twitch. And I'm not saying that this, again, because it's all about, will you make it to that, you know, that full-time status. I think you get a lot of confidence on Twitch when you get the little victories where you're like, wow, like I'm making part-time wages versus $2 on like a YouTube video, where like it gives you that confidence to really push on Twitch, versus I think with like YouTube, if you're not really, it goes back to the whole patient, if you're not really patient and strategizing, it makes it very difficult for people to do the research to make it work. Whereas like Twitch, it just rewards you little by little, and it can kind of like step you into the direction easier, I think.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely. Well, that's a spicy question. Very good conversation. This next question is even spicier. I'm going to take a volunteer for this one. What is the public reception of the Pokemon community? In other words, how do people see the Pokemon community? Viewers, streamers?
Like on Twitch or just in general?
Just in general. Like if you take like a focus group of people that are Pokemon viewers, and then a focus group that are Pokemon streamers, you know, a focus group that are non-Pokemon viewers and just hear things in other communities about the Pokemon community. Same thing with other streamers talking about the Pokemon community. What do you think the PR is? Like, do people have good thoughts? Do people have bad thoughts? I ask this because there's a lot of tweets out there that are like, wow, why is the Pokemon community so drama ridden, and why is the Pokemon community so this and that? Is this a loud minority? Is it a loud majority? What do people think? What do viewers think within the community? What do people think outside of the community? We have a volunteer for this very spicy question. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo- Robbie.
I mean, if nobody else is gonna go, I will. I'm not scared to say I am. Again, from my perspective, YouTube channels of all different sorts that I've had for years and years. When somebody comes over from my sports channel or my Let's Play channel or my Mario channel even, and they come to the Pokemon community, I would say that they're surprised when they enter a stream or watch a video of how welcoming it is. Because as you mentioned, the perception from an outside thing, if they see, any of the negativity or the drama, they think, oh, this is a bunch of nerds like a Dungeons and Dragons type of thing, where they're just too into the rules and it's too segmented and you're going to get yelled at and you're not welcome here. And I don't think that could be further from the truth in most cases, especially the people in this group here in this chat proves it. I think that's the thing, and they're surprised. They're surprised that, oh, well, this is a nice safe space. This is pretty cool. Like people just hanging out and having fun. We'll talk about whatever. I don't know. To me, that's what I get from my little corner of the earth. Even from people coming from completely different communities that are super competitive, like sports.
Right on. Now, I will say for my answer, I feel like people on the outside look at the Pokemon community in a very positive light, like what Robbie's saying, very welcoming, very chill, and just a nice tight-knit community. I feel like not as much with viewers, but I feel like there are some forces of divisiveness, like Steph was saying on Twitter and other social platforms, that we get sort of like that fishbowl complex where we are all kind of stuck in the same bubble with the same people. And sometimes what happens is people get divisive and make something seem like a bigger deal than it isn't. And I think that a small handful of people in our community may think that, but I feel like in general, a lot of people do see a lot in the Pokemon community. And yeah, this is actually a really tough question. Because it's like,
and discussion and dialogue. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You gotta learn.
I agree. I feel like people outside of the Pokemon community, if they come into a Pokemon streamers or even in like an Elite Four or another, like a multi with anyone, and see the interactions and the really cool dynamic that only a Pokemon stream can bring you, I think people see it as really cool, really nice. I think the Pokemon community is still overall one of the nicest, awesomest places ever. But I do think that for, a lot of the people who are really like immersed, I feel like it's very easy to get blinded by like little things that in the grand scheme aren't big deals, but because that's all you're exposed to all the time, like it feels like it's more annoying or more impactful than it really is. So I feel like it's this weird, like exactly like Josh said with the fishbowl, like that it's not it's not, but I do think people will not be open-minded sometimes about it, because I still at the end of the day love this community and would rather be here than be in like a League of Legends chat or something, like I feel like the dynamic is super different.
Yeah,
right on.
I think for me, again, I'm on both sides of the spectrum. I'm on Pokemon speedrunning and Pokemon, and I'm gonna go for the Pokemon speedrunning side of things. People don't know about it very well, besides generation 1 to 2 to 3, maybe just the very classic games, and they don't want to look outside of that typically because it's really what they know. Like if someone goes into a Fire Red stream, for example, they're always going to reference the Nidoking run of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow because that's what they know. And I feel a lot of what they mostly care about is like the earlier games versus the newer games. Very just there's also the points of where they don't really know enough about it that they want to put their interest into it as well. So it's kind of, I think, closed off in a sense. You know, we're kind of in our own little world, and that's something I've kind of realized going through the Pokemon community, is that we're definitely kind of in our own world, and we kind of, in a way, push away from the norm, and it's just, like I said, just very, very closed off, and it's kind of its own thing.
I think that's decently personified by the fact that we stream like non-Let's Go games and Let's Go Directory and like Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon when that was the game, you know? Like, that's a very interesting point. You guys tweet us questions. Tweet. We need questions. We want to answer your questions. Allie, do you have any, as the founder?
I mean,
what do you think the reception is,
man?
You
guys kind of like summed it up. Like, I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of different answers to the question of what is the public reception of the Pokemon community. It depends what lens you're looking at it from. But I mean, I guess just like for me, I mean, like from just streaming Pokemon for like 4 years now and being in the community for 5, at least on Twitch. I mean, everybody's always really welcoming, and like, yeah, we all get our, panties in a bunch about like, oh, which gen is best, like whatever. But like everybody has different opinions, and we just like, you can have a debate about it without like hating each other, right?
We all know
so
it's
I like
4th
talking
gen.
about that.
If someone doesn't say it's 4th gen, then I'm just gonna block them and subtweet them.
Block me. But
I don't know, all the other streamers I've met and like viewers I've met, they've all been great. We've just like been, like I said, been streaming Pokemon this long. I mean, you run into your bad eggs, but that's just like Twitch in general with like trolls and like people being, people getting more concerned over like numbers and stuff like that, whatever. But in terms of just general, in terms of like Reddit, Twitter sort of thing, I mean, I don't know. There's definitely like the vocal minority in terms of people being super negative. Like the thing is, there's going to be people that aren't happy no matter what they do, whatever Game Freak does. So like, I don't know. At this point, like, I just don't really care what like.
Yo,
where I'm at.
Yo, Allie.
I'm just concerned with my own community.
Robo Allie.
Yo.
Oh, did I turn into a robot?
Yeah, like last 15 seconds.
Okay, hold on. It says my connection's being weird. Basically what I said. Oh, there we go. Now it's back to normal. Basically what I said. There's the vocal minority like on Twitter and Reddit and stuff, but like at the end of the day, like whatever Game Freak does, people aren't going to be happy. Those kind of people aren't going to be happy. So like all I care about is like if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. Like it's your own enjoyment at the end of the day with the series, right? And you can share it with people that like it, or you can share it with people that don't like it. And if they don't like it, they can just go away. Or they can respect your opinion and realize people can have different opinions about Pokemon.
That speaks to the social media thing and how it affects everything. The bigger that social media gets, the more that some people have started to withdraw from it. I mean, I'll just give you an example. Yoshi's Island 2, my favorite game of all time on Super Nintendo. Came out with a remake of it called Yoshi's New Island. And it was interesting because Yoshi's Island 2 comes out pre-Twitter and all that stuff. One of the best reviewed and best loved games of all time, sales-wise on the SNES too. Great game, right? The remake comes out that's almost, very, very similar, right? Which, stop me if this sounds familiar, Pokemon community. The remake comes out, and I saw people grading that game like a 4.5 out of 10. Well, it didn't really, do any... and I played it, and it was fun. At the end of the day, trying to have fun playing video games. It was frustrating to see the effect social media had on stuff like that. And sometimes that creeps into our little community here in Pokemon, into our fishbowl.
A lot of closed-mindedness.
Some people... Yeah, every once in a while somebody comes in and does not clean up the fishbowl, So that's frustrating.
That's like, I said something in chat, like, when we started this question, I literally wrote, like, people being closed-minded, but they want the games to be fresh and new, Omega lol. I feel like that kind of sums that up.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Very good. Okay, the last topic of the day, the last big topic, before we do Twitter questions...
Send us questions.
...is the following.
Oh my god. He's like, did Josh cut out?
I would expect nothing less.
And that brick in the SpongeBob episode, that's Sword and Shield. When he drops the brick, I'm like,
why you would do that?
All right, Robbie, you're gonna have to talk the rest of this podcast as Squidward, okay?
Okay, I can do that. Not a problem.
Oh my god. Guys, get your 4th gen eyes in the chat. Oh my goodness. Okay. How will Generation 8 and Switch Pokemon sculpt the community? There's a few bullet points. We have notes. Growth, directory size, disproportionately more streamers than viewers, or vice versa. All this other stuff. More options or features for innovation. Oh my god, crazy things. That's a lot. Oh my god, that's a lot of Squidward in my chat. Who would like to answer this gargantuan question? And when I ask who, I mean Pulse.
Damn, dude.
All right, because I know you guys are gonna do the more of a Pokemon side. I'll do the speedrunning side. So I think that with accessibility to console, it's going to grow like crazy, and I am going to be there for it and gonna be ready, and I'm beyond excited, and I think we all are, because there's so much possibility with that game, and it has not even come out yet, and I think that's the most exciting part about it.
Absolutely. I'll take the torch. This is going to be really interesting, because with the barrier to entry being so much lower, we are going to have two very interesting effects. First of all, it's like I said, you have the convergence of handheld and console. So the fan base that will be getting their hands on these games, it's humongous. It is going to be gigantic. But there will be, some more viewers coming in, but we'll also have way more people coming in and streaming it for two reasons. First of all, people that are already in the Pokemon community that are getting, capture cards, because they can a lot easier. And then second of all, people are outside of the Pokemon community and are going to be coming in. And some of these people will be, part of the Pokemon community for a long time. Maybe people that are variety, but will be turned to Pokemon because of Sword and Shield. So we are going to see a giant influx in a lot of things. I think we will have more new streamers than more new viewers in terms of like growth rate, which will also be very interesting. How will it work for this Pokemon community that pretty much, this Pokemon community we have right now is one that has aged since X and Y. We've gathered our circle. We've pretty much made our fishbowl. And Sword and Shield is going to make a new fishbowl, which is kind of scary and kind of crazy to think. It's like a new era of people that are going to come in. Like, we're going to be the grandfathers now in the Pokemon community, whereas before, when going into X and Y, like, the grandfathers of that are like your Munching Oranges and Purple Rodri and King Nappy, and to a lesser extent like Hoodlum Scrafty a little bit later with them. But we're going to have a whole new group of people coming in and a whole new generation of Pokemon fans, of Pokemon streamers, of content creators, and I think that's going to be very interesting to see how the community forms with that. Let's Go is kind of like a medium phase of that, but it's just not the same as a new generation. Not everyone had Switches, not everyone had capture cards, not everyone even bought Let's Go because they didn't want to. And I think that's going to be a big part of it, is that it's going to be a new wave, a new era of Pokemon, both on the gamer side, but also on the community and content creation side. And man, that's going to be crazy. New friends.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like in comparison to like Let's Go was kind of like, it was Kanto again, whatever. So that's why it might not have been as big on Twitch. But I feel like Let's Go was just like kind of a prep for the new game, because like we kind of said this earlier, a lot of us think that, Sword and Shield might be the next sort of like, when I say renaissance, I mean in terms of like streaming. I don't mean in terms of like the games. I hope it is, but I feel like it'll be kind of the next like renaissance again, kind of repeating X and Y because it's the first brand new game on a new platform, the lower barrier to entry. There's already the people that are established in the Pokemon community that are going to be streaming it. And there's also the really big streamers that come and stream it. And, I've seen some variety streamers that have stuck with Let's Go, up until now, right? Because they really, really enjoyed it, which goes off of what you're saying. So I feel like it's going to be a lot bigger of an impact, or like numbers wise, in terms of the amount of people streaming it and also the amount of viewers. And it's going to have, the night that game comes out, or the day that game comes out, there's going to be a giant microscope or a giant magnifying glass on like the Pokemon directory and the Pokemon community. So a lot more, there's going to be a lot more competition, which I welcome, which also means a lot more viewers and people like looking at the game and stuff like that. So I'm really fascinated to see what happens. I feel like it's going to kind of be how Let's Go was, except like on a way bigger scale. And also in terms of like longevity, it depends on all the features that it has in terms of like shiny hunting, post-game battling, speedrunning, all that sort of stuff. Nuzlocke, like capability, or like what's the word? Like in terms of if it's a good game in Nuzlocke or not, stuff like that. So I'm excited to see what happens, and I think it's gonna last people. I think these games will last people just as long in like the streaming community as like X and Y and ORAS did, as opposed to Sun and Moon. So
right on. Robbie,
I think from I echo a lot of those sentiments. From a developer standpoint, and from something that I said right, as Let's Go was beginning to come out, was announced and everything, I always felt like Let's Go was the appetizer and the Gen 8 games are the main course. If you put yourself in the mind of a game developer for a minute, then Let's Go is a chance for the developers to get their feet wet, get comfortable, build a few things, and get used to developing on this new console, right? So they get to try a few things. Let's Go is a better test bed than, let's just do Gen 8, first time, first shot on this platform, on this console. They got to play around a little bit. And I think that we're going to reap the benefits to that with Gen 8. I think that's what the purpose that Let's Go served that maybe some people overlook from their standpoint. From our standpoint, yeah, it's Kanto again, whatever. I love me some Bulbasaur, don't get me wrong. But I think when we look towards Gen 8, that's going to be where we see the explosion. I see big things. I see more eyes on it. I see, as a result of that, more people coming in and staying, which is what I think we all need for a community to continue to be viable, 5-10 years down the road. As we look towards the future, games like this are the turning points. If for some reason this game comes out and it's a dud, people treat it like Let's Go, then the community is going to be in trouble. You only get one shot every couple of years, really, as we've seen, to do this. So it's a big deal. I think it's going to go very well. I think the directory is going to grow. I think that more eyes are going to be on it, and the people that work the hardest and are the most innovative will reap the benefits.
Right on. Steph, how Generation 8 and Switch Pokemon sculpt the Pokemon community?
I agree with a lot of it everyone has already said. I think it's going to be pretty big. I think any just brand new game is going to open up innovative things for just the whole community. I mean, it's like with X and Y and just even like Sun and Moon. I think both of those had huge bursts that lasted a pretty long time, before things started to feel stale and dull. So I agree with what everyone says. I think it's going to be big and fun. I think it's going to be important to not be discouraged by, again, I think the competition. Like, I don't think day one everyone's going to be getting 100+ viewers. Like, there is going to be a lot of saturation, and you actually day 1, 2 will probably have lower viewership than you normally do just because of how competitive it is.
But it brings more people in that wouldn't normally watch Pokemon, which they can come watch your stream.
Exactly, yeah. So, like, don't be, like, yeah, and this is just for anyone who wants that sort of insights, like, not be discouraged by, like, your regulars might not be, especially if they want to avoid spoilers, but yeah, it's going to bring in a lot of new community members who will start to learn and grow just like the community will, so yeah.
Plant seeds again. Seeds again.
Lots of seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we already kind of went over what do we want to get out of Sword and Shield. I think we kind of covered that. I want to do 2 rapid fire questions. Just a boom, boom, boom. Okay.
Okay.
How long will the Sword and Shield hype last on Twitch and YouTube? So this means that this time period is when it's hot. You're still getting growth. People are excited about it. You can still do series. For example, I would say Let's Go was like 3 weeks, maybe a month. For Ultra Sun and Moon, maybe a month and a half, 2 months. For, ORAS, it was probably closer to like 4 or 5 months. X and Y, maybe like half a year. So, with that definition in mind, I want to start with Robbie, and we'll go clockwise. How long?
3 months.
3 months.
3 months.
Allie.
I mean, it felt like Ultra Sun and Moon and Sun and Moon.
Okay, robot.
Or at least to me, I don't know. Oh, am I roboting? Hold on.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I would honestly, I would give it like 6 months, I think. Like, I don't know, first brand new Pokemon games on the Switch, which is a new platform for Pokemon. So Yeah, I don't know. I would say that, but it really depends, like I said, on like the content of the game. So could be 3 months, could be 6 months. Who knows?
Stepho.
I think it's very possible to get an X and Y situation. So I'm gonna say 6 months of like explosive content. But I also feel, again, because it's like a new game on the Switch, I think we could get a year of interactive community engagement. But the 6 months of like explosive content, if that makes sense.
Pulse.
For speedrunners, I think I'd give it. With the way things are actually just now starting to slow down with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee on speedrunning. So I think I want to give it about 6 months as well. Definitely.
I'm going to give a complicated answer because I like giving complicated answers. I'm going to give it 5 months. Then May and June are going to come and completely everyone's numbers because it's, oh no, APs and weather's getting nice. People are playing sports and finals and craziness. And then it's going to seem like maybe hype's dying down, and then summer's going to come, and it's going to get a little reignition for like 2 months. Then we're going to get Gen 4 remakes. But my answer, TLDR, 5 months. That's what I say. That is what I say.
I agree that I think Gen 4 remakes are going to come at the end of
Spoiler!
What?
Next
oh my
question.
God. Oh, never mind. Okay, I'm going to shut up now.
Okay, next question. Do you think, this is the second rapid fire, do you think 2020, aka the year after Gen 8, do you think 2020 is the year of Gen 4 remakes? Yes or no? Steph.
Yes.
Pulse.
Yes.
Me. Yes. Robbie.
Who cares about No, yes.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I love you, buddy.
Yes.
Very good. Is there anyone in chat that does not think they're Gen 4 remakes? Because this is important. If we all get our hopes up, that means Game Freak has something to deliver on.
is it your is the question, or well, at least in terms of what you mentioned in chat, it's when is it coming or if it's happening at all? Because I've seen some people that are, sorry, but delusional, that think we're not gonna get Diamond and Pearl remakes. I'm like, that's just my opinion, but like, based on the pattern, like, come on, like, they're gonna have
question though. Let's Go, like, where Let's Go's place is gonna be, if they're gonna
Am I
like do
wrong?
more
That's a good question.
as well.
I don't want Gen 4 Let's Go.
I don't want Gen.
Oh
I
yeah,
want a
true.
full
Somebody
game.
mentioned third version. Yeah.
I love Let's Go. I wish that they would do like Call of Duty does, where the development studios every other year put out a game, right? Get a designated Let's Go team.
Maybe not every other year, but maybe every 3 years.
I'm down with every other year because I want a Pokemon game every year. Because as a content creator, I want
next year I want Gen 4 remakes. I do not want Let's Go Johto next year. I will be upset if next year is Let's Go Johto.
Yeah, I mean, I love Johto, but I would rather have Gen 4 remakes before Let's Go Johto, if that were to happen.
Yeah.
Gen 4 needs its first remake. Johto's already got its remake.
Johto has Heart Gold.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have.
I'm sure
we're
Heart Gold
arguing
Silver
over
are gonna
which
be
games
way
we want
better
them to
than
release yearly, so that's good.
Okay. I'm gonna cut this question a little bit. The last question before we go to Twitter questions. So with that being said, guys, if you have any questions that are still lingering, tweet them to us at Elite4TV using hashtag IP. It's in the upper right hand corner of the layout. We will be answering all of them as long as they're appropriate and all that kind of stuff. With that, the question is, where will the Pokemon community be in 5 years? We're gonna make it 5 years. So 5 years brings us to year 2024, and that brings us pretty much towards the middle/later stage of the Switch. Maybe Gen 9 is kind of in the middle now, something like that maybe. Where do you think the community will be? What kind of games we're gonna be looking at? Do you think it's gonna crumble? Do you think we're gonna grow crazy? Yeah, Temp 10 Gamer, yeah, dude.
I have an interesting thing to bring up.
Go.
So, okay, this is a slight tangent, but also relates to the question. So, the end of the Direct mentioned that they had a lot of Pokemon stuff in store. So, I'm very curious if the Pokemon community will benefit from a lot of spin-off games that we might be getting on the Switch, because that was really interesting that they specifically mentioned we have a lot of Pokemon. Well, okay, well, I don't know. I thought that it seemed different.
You upset? See what you did, Steph?
It's fine.
what I was about to say was
I feel like that's a normal. I think like even in Nintendo Directs they say that a lot.
Well, like the thing is, what I was my thought was was what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like think about like all of the side series spin-off stuff that they did for like 3DS and everything. Like it's we're definitely gonna get that sort of stuff for Switch. It's just a matter of what it is.
It would be weird if they didn't do that because they had done it like they've done that a lot like over
the selective listening. I got excited. I want a new mystery dungeon really bad. That's a tangent. I see that in the chat. I want it.
I'm just gonna say in 5 years, I feel like we're gonna end up in the same exact cycle where Sword and Shield is gonna be the beginning of something amazing. Gen 4 remakes are going to be our Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire or our Heart Gold Soul Silver, where people are gonna love it, not as much as Sword and Shield, but they're gonna adore it. And we're gonna get maybe something else after that, maybe a new Let's Go, or maybe a third Sword and Shield game. And I think by the time that 2024 comes out, I think the community is going to be at like a low point again, but we're going to be due for something new. Maybe Gen 9 will be like in full force by then, but the important part of this is I think the community will still be very alive and well. There will still be lots of streamers, lots of viewers, etc.
I mean, just like I don't remember what year you said, and like I'm not even taking you into consideration. Well, regardless, like that doesn't even matter. At least my opinion on it is like it's gonna be like they're
Pokemon's
gonna
not going anywhere.
Well, that, and also they're gonna generally keep with like a similar pattern. Maybe not the exact same thing because Let's Go kind of changed up stuff, which is cool. But people hate change. Well, anyway, but like it's gonna be the same general pattern where like they announce news, people get hyped, people speculate, then people get mad because the game isn't what they thought it would be, and we get into that. And then there's some people that love the game and streaming and YouTube. It's all gonna be the same. Like generally speaking, I feel like it's gonna be the same sort of news cycle if you want to call it that. But that's just my opinion.
Yo, Robbie.
I do agree with the cyclical nature of most communities. We've been around 20 years. I don't think we're going anywhere. My hope and my thought also is that it's still a cycle, but a little bigger each time. If it can continue to grow, then I'm a happy guy as both the creator and as a fan of the series.
Right on. Pulse, what's the fate of Pokemon speedrunning?
I actually don't. I don't think I can actually add much. Like Robbie just put it perfectly, absolutely perfectly.
Oh. If you kind of hinted a little bit at your answer, are you with it?
Yep.
Oh, Steph, I said.
Oh. Yeah, I agree.
Sweet. All right, I think we're ready for the question and answers segment of this.
Ooh la la.
Questions and answers. Okay. So
would you like me to read them out to make your life easier?
I got it on my phone.
Oh, you're good. Okay, cool.
Look at you.
I'm a boss with my phone. Okay, so we're gonna try and answer these kind of quickly because there's like a lot of them, and we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for sending us questions. We'll have like 1 or 2 people answer each of these. The first one is from Sweet Lou. Actually, I don't know if we're gonna do this in order or not, but from Sweet Lou, Liv, who says, I agree that the Pokemon community feels lost and burnt out given the various content of Ultra Sun and Moon and Let's Go brought over the last few years. My question is, how do you guys keep your love for Pokemon alive despite what the rest of the Pokemon community is feeling? I want to take this meatball and hit it.
I have a short, mine's kind of a short answer, but like Pokemon's my favorite thing ever. And how I keep the love alive, I go back and play Pokemon Crystal because that's my favorite, and I ignore what everybody else thinks, and that's how I live my life.
Retweet, find new ways to play, and that's that pretty much. And play other games too. That's important. Play other games. You don't get burnt.
Yeah, mixing it up is important. As far as me, people have asked me because of my name as well. People think that means only play Pokemon. And what it means for me is actually a little different. Just play Pokemon means just play the game. Don't worry about everything else. Have fun. Oh my god. I play games. Yeah, right?
Oh my god.
I play all sorts of games.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's not like you just play Pokemon. You just play Pokemon.
Just play. Just play it. Just
Oh
play
my
it.
God.
Enjoy
Hold
it.
on.
That's
You're telling me streamers can play games outside of Pokemon?
Oh my
Wait,
God.
what?
I'm sorry. I just threw it out there. If you don't like it, you can throw it right back. But that's
Oh my God, that's amazing.
That's how I keep it alive.
That
I
is
just
that is
play the
great,
game.
and that's like consistent with your brand and everything, like your values about like just having fun, and that's why your other channel is just play Mario. Like just play, have fun.
Just play and
Just
have
play.
fun. That's how
Oh
I
my
do
God.
it. To answer your question, Olivia. Thank you.
Wow, your username
guys are funny.
is like infinitely more amazing now. What the hell?
Thanks, man.
That's such a good username. What the hell?
I thought everybody knew that. Sorry.
Wait, I can't tell if it's sarcastic or not.
No.
No.
Well, at first it was.
Yeah,
At first
I'm
it was
so
because people were like, "You
confused.
mean you can play other games?"
Right.
No,
I thought this
like
whole thing was
that's actually
sarcastic.
that's an amazing username. Like
It's just a philosophy, man.
just play. Like instead of like, oh, I just play Pokemon. Like that's the only thing I play. It's about like just playing.
Mhm.
Robbie, I fucking love you.
I love you too, buddy.
Wow, that's great branding too. That's like good marketing consistent with your brand positioning. Wow. Okay, next question. This one is from Marshall.
Wait, I want to answer that one.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Real quick. I really like, if you don't put so much focus on the game itself, but the experience, and you can always make it a new experience, then I think it's really easy to keep it alive.
That's a
my-
great.
And that is actually what speedrunning is all about.
Hey!
Our community is always introducing something brand new and just something amazing to the forefront, because like not too long ago, this game was awful. This game was absolutely awful. You sat there looking at boat cutscenes for hours, just watching Lugia take it away. Pokemon Coliseum. This was also terrible. You would watch the bases blow up, hope and pray that you got like a 1% or something, Espeon and Umbreon or whatever. And then we broke it open, introduced something new, and now it's a consistent pattern. And with new games coming out, it just gets better and better.
That makes me want to run those games now, so thanks.
It's a good time. It's a really good time.
Oh, that's amazing. Next up, Marshall Williams. Since y'all are the Elite Four, what type would you be, and what would your Pokemon team be? Ooh, that's
I already know. I get this question a lot on my stream,
I
so I
know
can just
also.
like spit it out. Favorite types are Water, Fire, Electric. Pokemon team is Latias, Dragonite, Typhlosion, Ho-Oh, Glaceon, and oh my god, Raichu. Duh. Yeah.
Squirtle.
Yeah, 6 Venusaurs.
Piplup, Munchlax. Yeah.
You're gonna be an easy gym leader. Josh is gonna be the one that we go to first.
Don't doubt me.
Ice is my favorite type. I would definitely have a Glaceon and a Frostlass, and the rest are TBD. I'd have to think on it to make it a good strategic team. Maybe a Mamoswine too. That
And a
would...
Munchlax with an ice plate.
Nah. No.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, this is a good question about Gen 8 from Calvin, who says, what do you guys think of the rumored armored evolutions that might come to the Pokemon games? I personally don't want it since it feels too much like Digimon, and I am going to pivot right away to Robbie, because in our speculation video about Sword and Shield, I was like, I heard about armored, like the armored forms, and I was like, man, that's kind of stupid. Like, I don't know if I would like that. Robbie then said the following.
Yes, as we mentioned in the video, which you guys should check out, I said, well, maybe that gives more opportunities for flexibility on a glass cannon type Pokemon like Alakazam. Maybe if armored Alakazam is a thing, then all of a sudden it's got some better defense, sacrifices a little offense, and you have a brand new old Pokemon, kind of like we've done with Mega Evolutions, maybe some typing changes and things like that. I think it opens up more flexibility and things. But I can understand the sentiment of Calvin there, where he says, I don't personally like it. I like when people qualify it that way, not this is bad, but I don't personally think it's for me, that's totally okay.
I agree. I love when people do that. That's good.
Yeah.
That doesn't attack other people or their values.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I think you gotta put yourself in other people's shoes. As much as that's overused, like, it's true. You need to think. You can flip your perspectives based on something somebody responds to you with, things like that. And now, I took Josh from, well, I'm not sure about this, to, hey, that could be cool. And if you keep an open mind, then maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But your mind is open to these things. That's the important thing there. Me personally, I think it could be cool because of that.
Hell yeah. Does that have anything on Armored? Any opinion?
For some reason, when I think of armored Pokemon, I think of something like a Beyblade where you like put it together with customizable parts.
Yo, if it's customizable, I'm
Oh my
on
God.
Give me
board.
Pokemon Beyblade.
Gundams?
Customizable Armored, that would be...
Gundams in
Yep.
Pokemon? Oh my god. Guys,
See, when you
just
think of
did
it
the
that way,
thumbnail reaction for your video too, Steph.
Wow.
Gundams?
I'm dead.
Steph, do you want
Oh
a new thumbnail shot of you? Oh my
I'm
goodness.
dead. I'm dead. Can you imagine doing like Gundam fights in Pokemon? I can't. I'm getting too excited. Like that's too.
Guys, this has been so fun. I see the chat like doing the same thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What's everyone's most memorable moment on Twitch or YouTube and what got everyone into Pokemon? I think we kind of did our favorite
The first
memory
Yeah.
a little bit earlier on. But what got everyone to Pokemon? For me, it was my friends. When I was younger, I came in late with, Diamonds and Pearl. I was a little bit older. Like, I was like 10 or 11, but I wasn't like 5 or 6. But that's pretty much, that's how I got into it. First night playing Pokemon's always the best night of your life. Yeah. How everyone else got into Pokemon?
Yeah, mine's not that exciting. I was in like kindergarten, first grade. I think my brother had yellow on Game Boy Color, and that's it. Yeah.
Pokemon Yellow,
Robbie?
pretty much.
Give me just a second. I'm actually gonna illustrate my point with something, so you guys go ahead.
I had the OG Pokemon anime like on VHS growing up. So I actually watched the anime before the games, actually. And then I bought like the games and like had it.
StephOfAnime, huh?
Literally, yeah.
That's awesome.
So, this is how I got started in Pokemon.
Nintendo Power.
Nintendo Power. Okay. This is the Game Boy that I played it on.
Yo.
Aww.
And I think I still have it. Let me double check. Yeah, so here's the Pokemon TCG. All of these. Oh, there's Pokemon Red.
Hey.
Yeah, basically all the kids on the bus were playing it, and I'm like, I want to be one of the cool kids that play Pokemon on the bus, and so I got it.
Can I just say one of the sad things about getting into the anime first is like, and I'm skipping because I watched like the anime like through all of it, but like say like Pokemon contests in the Gen 4 anime, when I played the Gen 4 games after seeing the anime, seeing how cool contests were in the anime where like the moves do all this special stuff, and then I played the ones in the game, I was like, this isn't like the show.
I hate you, Pulse. I hate you. I hate you for contests for life. Jerk. No, but in all seriousness, just a quick tie-in too to that. One of the things that's cool about it is when a new generation comes out, you have the opportunity for more people to have stories like this. Oh, I've played it since whenever. If we get some new people to come in and play it since Sword and Shield, that goes back to the future question, then I think that the Pokemon company has done their job.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Next question is from Nathuru, who says, do you think that the company is running out of ideas just based on the new set of starters being, in quotes, disliked in design?
Okay, look. If we think if we're using that logic for these starters, then they ran out of ideas in Gen 1. That's all I'm gonna say.
I feel like the starters aren't very disliked.
I feel like that's
I feel like a lot of I don't have any, data or anything, but just from what I've seen, like everyone that I've talked to likes the starters really.
It might be pointing. It might just to maybe give context. Some people are like, "Oh, all the new starters like look the same," blah blah blah. But it's like I literally saw a tweet. I talked about this on stream the other day. I saw a tweet of like the official art of the Gen 1 starters, and they all have like big heads and the same big eyes. Like that's kind of I think what people are running with, which is silly. It seems like everybody likes them. So.
Yeah, I feel like they're fan favorites already. I don't think they're running out of ideas. I think that they're still creative and everything, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Next up, we got Nadi, who says most forgettable generation, not main series, but based on a full generation. So to be clear, you know, like Gen 6 includes X, Y, and ORAS, not just X and Y. So most forgettable generation.
7.
Ooh. Woo!
7.
Oh!
Yeah, if it's sun or moon.
I feel like I can't give an answer because none of them are forgettable.
It's definitely between 5 and 7. Here's the thing. I might say 7 because of how short of a generation it was. Although, to be fair, actually, let me clarify something. According to Pokemon, officially, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are Generation 7 games. According
my point
to...
still stands.
Ooh! Woo! Woo! Oh,
I love Let's Go, but there's more. It's the same as Sun and Moon. I might be robot.
With that generation, with that definition in mind, does that change your answer?
It's just a ranking, so it's not a slam on those games. I love Let's Go.
But
Pikachu
most forgettable.
Too, so.
The fact that Let's Go is still part of that. Is it still most forgettable?
It helps it trend towards less forgettable. But I disliked Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon so much personally that if I don't have to, I'm not going to play those games much compared to the other ones. I always look forward to going back to the other games, whereas with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I give pause. I'm like, I don't know. So
I am personally, I am with, because Elliot and I talk about, you know, the Pokemon trends and all that all the time. I am not on the Gen 7 hate bandwagon. I really like, I have the unpopular opinion. I think Ultra Sun and Moon were really fun games. I really do love them. I feel like they were great. I feel like it's so silly that if they literally just had a cutscene skip button and didn't call it Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, then we would all think completely differently of Gen 7. And I feel like looking past that, I feel like they were really good games. And it's a shame because if they literally just literally had a cutscene skip button, people would love Gen 7 infinitely more. And it's too bad because I think they're great games.
Clips and give me cutscene skips, right?
There you go. Exactly. Literally. I do think that they're really fun games, but that's just me. I would go back and play them.
Well, like my reasoning for picking Gen 7 is most forgettable, even with putting Let's Go in it. Like I had a blast with like Let's Go. I mean, I love Gen 1. Like I'm not gonna say no to replaying Kanto again, which I guess is an unpopular opinion. It was really pretty. Like, you know, they did the overworld and go mechanics really well. But like in terms of like not forgettable or like memorableness, like there's not much to like Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, and Let's Go that like I really kind of like one of you guys said, like that makes me really want to go back and like replay it or something, right? And I value replayability a lot, so it's just me.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. Very good question. I don't think I could give a fair answer because I feel like I can't say Gen 7 when we're still in Gen 7. I don't know how forgettable this generation is yet because we're in that generation.
That's fair.
It's like asking the viewers, hey guys, how forgettable is this podcast? It's like it's kind of hard.
Unforgettable.
It's kind of hard to.
I was thinking around the same. I also feel like it's hard. Like, oh my god, here's the science side of me. Like, I feel like you need a proper experiment to actually see.
Okay, all right.
Wait, look, because it's like
this is
unfair...
what do you think, not what is objectively.
But that's what I'm thinking. I feel like, right? Hear me out. Because like, if I play, like for example, Gen 3, the OG Gen 3, I've played it like once and I just haven't touched it. So like, is it not memorable to me because of the actual features that were there, or just because like time versus like, you know, like if I replay them all at this like in the same time and then a week later. No, I know. I'm just saying, like, that's what makes it hard for me to answer right now. Is I feel like I can't give an answer because I need to play through all of them again recently, and then a week later someone asks, which is the like most memorable to least memorable.
I think they mean more in a cultural sense. If you took like the whole Pokemon community and what they would recall the most, not like an objective.
I was answering. I was answering.
Yeah.
Personal.
Yeah, if
like
we're
my
talking
personal
culturally,
experience.
everybody's gonna remember Gen 1.
This is true. Fair point.
But yeah, that's my answer. So I can't give an answer.
Science. This is a question I've been looking forward to. Joe gave a really good question. As a game meant to provide content opportunities, how would y'all grade ORAS, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? I'm also gonna throw in X and Y.
Gets worse as you
grade
go
or
along.
rank?
You know, I think we would all agree if we were to rank that, it would literally go in order of.
That's what that's what I literally just said. It gets worse.
Yeah, you're right. It just gets worse.
Games are great. Don't get me wrong. I like all of those games, but in terms of content opportunities, it's gotten worse every single game.
If I were to go down the line, X and Y, A, then probably I would give ORAS still an A because I go back to ORAS so often. Sun and Moon was like a C. Ultra Sun and Moon was like a C minus. Let's Go was like a F. Die.
Ooh, F.
Let's Go
Damn.
was awful. 100%. If we stopped the podcast right now and I went to do shiny hunting and Let's Go, the viewership would drop half. If I stopped this right now and I did an ORAS speedrun, people would stay. I'm just saying. That is the
I mean, an F means like this was not even worth my time almost.
Let's Go is
Can I have a confession? I still haven't beat the game.
Steph hasn't beat Let's Go yet. You know what? My answer is now Gen 7 for the most forgettable. If people can't even beat the f***ing game.
I guess it is an F then.
I
got the game day one.
So
I have hold on. I have an interesting twist on the speedrunning side of this actually. I would actually rank Usum at the top. Then put ORAS, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and Sun and Moon for speedrunning in particular. Because it's so strange because like people seem to actually want to like watch Usum out of anything that I do in that list compared to ORAS, Sun and Moon, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Sun and Moon is definitely at the bottom because the Usum speedrun's more interesting. And then after that, the ORAS and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are close to each other in terms of interesting speedruns because ORAS has a bunch of different categories you can do as well. But Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee has been like one of the most unique speedruns in a very, very, very long time. And I think that's definitely where like I put my list at for sure.
Right on. I have a good question from the Elite Fam, the Elite 4 Fam, saying if you had to pick one defining moment in the Pokemon community, one that could be what you use to show people outside the fandom to show what it's all about, what would you pick? Cut through a Pokemon marathon, sit and watch for a week. Seriously, that showcased shiny hunting, speedruns, the hype trailer, the diversity of personalities, like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I can't really think of a better example.
I would say that, or branch out. You know, if you want to say just multis between Pokemon creators, there's something special with that. I am biased because of the Cutthroat Marathon. I think that was amazing, but I think any multi-series between Pokemon content creators brings something special and like that important like vibe you get.
Yeah, any of the creative stuff is the thing. Random Water Trike battles, some of my favorite stuff. Me and Elliot have done that for years now in various forms. Just proves that with the right that this is a good group for most people to come in and be a part of. Mm-hmm. You can join this community. This is joinable. You're welcome here.
Yeep. All right, we have a few more questions. What do y'all think? This is from Marshall again. Another good question. What do y'all think of Gen 8 going back to Kalos, kind of like how Johto did with Kanto? My opinion is, oh my goodness, that would be the most amazing thing ever. I really don't think it's going to happen, but wow, if they did, I would cream my pants and I would need to change. Seriously.
Well, now that you're doing that.
I actually think I would personally be satisfied if they like squared off a little area that you could go to in Kalos, like just like what's the giant Paris city, Lumios, right?
Yeah.
I think Lumios. Yeah, like I'd be happy just going there and doing some like sort of quest or something. Personally, I think that'd be awesome.
I might be the unpopular opinion. As much as I love Kalos and would love to go back to it, I don't want to go back to it in the new game because I want to experience the new game for what it is. I don't know.
I think people are thinking.
And don't get me wrong, Gen 2 is my favorite. I love going back to like Johto and Kanto was dope. So yeah.
There's a couple things here. I think people, the majority of people think of this as, oh, we can do it just like Heart Gold and Soul Silver did, and you're going through the whole thing. Well, I'm not sure if I want to go through the whole thing again. But like you said, rope off a little section, give us Friend Safari, give us a little fan service. And I think the second thing is like an example, right? Mario Odyssey, I felt like did a good job of servicing the old while bringing in some new. And like that balance is really hard to strike. But even the little bits of like, oh, you're in 2D Mario 1. Like, okay, this is cool. It's not essential, but it's a cool little thing. And then the other thing is post-game. Like what you're really saying deep down, I think a lot of people, is I want something cool and extra to do in post-game. Not shiny hunt, not whatever you call those trainers that I haven't done a single one of in Let's Go, Eevee.
I feel like they got
something to sink your teeth into, a little separate story.
I feel like they really got the episodic stuff down right when they did the Delta episode in Oras and the Rainbow Rocket episode in Ultra Sun and Moon. You can only really play it once, but I still think it was really cool that they did that. Like, being able to like fly up with Rayquaza up to Deoxys, like you can really only do it like one time and have it still be like fresh. But like, I thought it was really cool. You could beat the game and there will be like, even if it's just like a 2 or 3 hour segment, there's more that you could do.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
All right, we got 4 more. We got from Link. You can meet with the Pokemon community, the Pokemon company as a representative or all content creators, Pokemon content creators. What topics or issues will you bring up?
Ooh, what a good
Stop
question.
claiming stuff.
Great question.
Too many things, but stop claiming stuff immediately. Because Nintendo's a lot more lax with it now, but we had a bunch of issues trying to get our reactions up. So
I have an interesting twist to this question. So we could all go there and have a laundry list of things. If you could tell them one topic, you'd have a couple like mini subtopics, but one general thing, what would it be? And Allie's like, let me say cutscenes and something else, or else I'm getting the out of here, man.
Dang it. All I was going to say was post-game content. That's it. But Discord died, so yeah.
Robbie.
I would say modernizing it, making it more social media and content friendly as a whole. Not, we have this thing that we're giving you one way, you don't really have a voice.
Right. I would definitely say something pretty much in between Allie and Robbie's answer, and it's replayability. Now, I don't mean in terms of being able to go and just play the game again, but in terms of being able to just pick up the game again, do Wonder Trades on it, do shiny hunting on it, bring back things that you can do that people want to do, whether it is shiny hunting methods or a new kind of a Wonder Trade. Bring back Wonder Trades too, but like something else new that we can go back and regularly rely on to play. And I think Robbie told me this in a call the other day, but like, I want to be able to sink like 250 hours into my games, not 40 hours and just be done,
Mm-hmm.
And along with the replayability, just, being able to play it without having a headache is also nice. That's kind of part of it. Pulse. You can tell the Pokemon Company one thing. Custom IV starter.
Let me skip cutscenes, please. Like, give me something to be able to do. Wait. Okay, yeah, skippable cutscenes, definitely. I think if it was the one thing, or else I'm gonna go on a tangent.
I was gonna say, wait, real quick. Can we just talk about how Let's Go Pikachu Eevee had a skip cutscene button, but it didn't. It was only like the big actual cutscenes, not like the cutscenes in game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
bring a real one.
I feel like this is a hard question because I feel like the thing that I would want would need like heavy discussion around it, but on a basic sense, going with the whole not claiming, being more accepting of very transformative content, like to do something not controversial. If someone made out of Legos a Pikachu, like Pokemon like would claim that more than likely than not. And like
Really?
I feel like stuff like I think so, yeah. I've heard things like people did like a plushie show with like Pokemon plushies, and the Pokemon company like shut down like their project because, and it didn't even have to do with anything like with the actual games. So being more accepting of that, I know when it comes to randomizers and other things, I know that's like a touchier topic, so I'm not going to touch it because people have strong feelings, and I know from business models there's reasons for and against that. But just things like that, like really like cute transformative content, like they're very like shut down. Like even like, you know, Pixelmon in Minecraft, like they shut down Pixelmon servers and like that, but that's like not even like their IP with like the game dev stuff. That was all done in Minecraft, you know? So like, I think that is something I would really like. I'm sad.
I think I have a new answer actually.
Do you want cutscenes?
No, I still don't want cutscenes, but I think I would bring up to them that they should actually look at what some people are doing with Pokemon and do it better.
Yeah.
Like a good example of that, I would say, God, it actually kind of slipped my mind. Come back to me.
Dun, dun,
Oh wait,
dun.
actually, hold on. I do have it.
There
Okay,
it is.
so you know how Twitch basically took like multi-Twitch and made it into their own thing. Well, they're going to, you know. Well, I think what Pokemon could do is they could be a little bit more open-minded about things like, you know, randomizers, and make their own sort of randomizer option. Put that into the game. People love that. Take what people love and put it into the game. And that's part of what people love, definitely. I know that for sure.
Right on. I was just thinking that would be amazing. I don't know if they would ever do that, or at least for a while, but that is great. Down to the last 3 questions. We have Noah, Mr. Glitched, who asks, with Let's Go's quick death in terms of numbers, how do you think Sword and Shield will perform? Do you think the high accessibility will actually kill it faster from sheer number burnout? I say no. I think numbers are going to be really good. I feel like Let's Go just sucked ass for content. People got tired of it really quickly. I think if you're approaching it the right way, I think it can perform really well both on YouTube and Twitch. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Renaissance.
Yeah, for sure. I think it depends on the post game. It's that simple. Everybody's going to play through the game once. Everybody's going to love it, I'm sure. And then after that, we'll see how people really feel. The post game is going to be the catalyst for how long and how many, in terms of numbers, people stick around.
Yeah, new generation, much better numbers. Kanto remake, not good numbers. Anyone else?
Also, hi Noah, we love you.
Nope, I agree. I have nothing to add.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on it earlier, but yeah.
Lil baby green bean. Took a minute to read that. What were your favorite post-game things to do in previous games, and what would you specifically like to see in Sword Shield post-game? So we kind of delved into this a little bit, but not completely. I really liked I really liked Oras. Oras did a lot of things right. They didn't do Battle Frontier, and that's a shame. It would have been amazing if they did Battle Frontier. But the Delta episode was really cool. The fact that we had chain fishing and hordes and dex navving was great. Those are some of the things that I really liked. Does anyone have post-game things that they really liked they did in the past?
Give me like the shiny hunting methods from X and Y and Oras. That was great. Give me Emerald Battle Frontier, and then give me like Pokemon Crystal post-game in terms of like, going for all the legendaries, and like you have a bunch of daily
rematches,
scheduled interactions and rematches and stuff like that. The thing that makes Crystal feel so immersive, I don't know if you guys watch Tamashi. She made a really good video on it. You guys should watch it about why she really likes Gen 2. But it's basically like Crystal and Gen 2 in general has like, they have these daily sort of occurrences and like rematches and stuff like that, and going for legendaries that like incentivizes you to play the game in like small bursts every day and kind of makes you feel more immersed in it. And that's something that I really like. And if you add all those shiny hunty things and like even the Gen 5 subway thing.
Robot. I can't hear you. Wait, someone else talk? Is this on me? Can't hear anyone. Out of nowhere. What the hell? Wow, at the very end too, that is hilarious. Hold on one second. No, this is not a one-man podcast. Can you guys hear me still? Thumbs up if you can hear me and call. Well, that's good. Hold on one second. I'm just gonna double check something really quickly. Alright, I'm gonna repoint this. Okay, I'm gonna put this on the same channel as my background music, just because we're at the very end. Alright, talk.
Yeah. Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, just the music may be too loud now. Hold on one second.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird.
Hello.
Okay, let me know if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay. Should I guess I'll say the I don't know what
Battle Subway?
I don't know what the stream heard, but basically my ideal post game would be Emerald Battle Frontier, the subway thing from Gen 5, shiny hunting from X and Y and Oras, and then Crystal sort of like the scheduled like daily interactions and rematches and legendaries you could go get, because it made it more immersive. That's it.
Hell yeah.
Very loud now. Very loud now, the chat's saying.
It should be good now. Is that
Okay.
Let me know if it's still bad.
Yeah,
we're pretty much we only have one more question left, but it should be good now. Alright, cool.
Yeah, gotta echo most of what Ali said. I would also say just Wonder Trades. I love Wonder Trades. I love Wonderlock and stuff. So personally,
Wonder Trades
Yeah,
were such
and
a
Gen
cool-
3 contests.
yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Ew. Contests. Ugh.
I learned to love them, even though they weren't the anime ones. I learned to
Hey,
love them.
but again, that speaks to the point. It's all about your experience, right? It's about what you enjoy. So that's why there's so many different things, and why it's so hard to please everybody. But
Right.
it service me a little bit. Give me the PSS and Wonder Trades, and I'm happy.
I'm
Alright,
actually gonna be the dark horse, Rainbow Rocket. I loved Rainbow Rocket. I think that was my favorite.
I still haven't beaten it.
It's
I
so
never
good.
did it.
It's so good, but I understand why you wouldn't. But
I haven't touched it.
I love it.
You got to
Nope.
battle all the bosses. It's so awesome. It's like they gave everything you wanted as a kid.
I think if they did something similar to that and like let you go to like older regions for like a battle or something.
Oh, that
I
would
think
be
that'd
awesome.
pretty cool.
Oh, that would be so sick.
So, we have one more question. Is from the one and only Eclipse site, who says, do you think Pokemon games should stick to their overall formula, or should Game Freak try and expand themselves with different games for different age groups? Would expanding their genres help or hinder the Pokemon community as a whole? Don't want to take this, or should I?
I kind of feel like they're already expanding, especially
like-
with like side games.
I feel like with
Pokemon
spin-offs. Yeah, Pokemon Go. I feel like they've expanded a lot with
Mm-hmm.
tons of spin-off games and a lot of experimenting.
What do we want, a battle royale?
I think even Detective Pikachu as a movie is like a way of showing that they're expanding
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
Yo, picture
You know.
Bulbasaur on one of those things though, just flying down. I mean, I'm just
I
saying,
was
they
also
did
gonna
poke it.
mention real quick, like, I mean, this is outside of the scope of Pokemon a little bit, but like, yeah, they're doing a lot with spin-offs in the IP and Detective Pikachu, Pokemon Go, you know, new content for Pokemon. in terms of spin-offs inside series. But also too, like, you know, Game Freak has done other games outside of Pokemon that is a way for them to explore different things that doesn't necessarily mean completely flipping Pokemon on its head, right? And I mean, also they're doing like Town on the Switch, which I'm really looking forward to. So I guess that's something
I'm
to keep in
excited for
mind.
that.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
In terms of that, I think I actually want to see like old version or like what is it? Some of the old things that they've done brought back, like Stadium, Snap,
Ranger.
Did you just? Oh,
Hey You Pikachu, Pokemon Coliseum. I loved those games, and I know people have such good memories about it. Or maybe even like just some sort of like feature and make it into its own entire game, you know, like Battle Factory, for example. People loved the Battle Frontier of its entirety, and I think a game based around that would be pretty cool.
Actually, it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's all the questions. Thank you guys for giving us a ton. That is amazing.
That was awesome.
Really good experience today, guys. Thank you, chat.
Totally tweet us ideas for future podcasts. These podcasts can have anyone on the Elite Four as well. So we're gonna try and we'll get a new squad of people next month.
Yeah.
New topic, all that kind of stuff. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Allie and Robbie and Pulse and Steph for taking your valuable time and joining us for a podcast. This was so much fun.
Thanks for having us.
I can procrastinate my paper more, so thanks.
Same though. Same.
I'm gonna go
Don't go
play.
anywhere. We're
Let's
gonna do a
go.
raid. We're gonna do.
Yeah,
Oh
guys.
yeah, who we want to raid? Who's
We're gonna
live?
raid someone on the Elite Four because someone's live in the Elite Four right now.
Oh heck yeah!
Ooh.
We are going to do a raid of the beautiful and the amazing Natty-chan. But before we do that, does anyone have anything they want to say before we get out of here? Any goodbyes?
Peace. That was
We
fun.
love
It's
you.
fun bringing the podcast back. I think it was a good
Thank
topic.
you, guys. I mean,
Guys,
it's
Dab.
really cool to have different perspectives and to feel like you grow a little bit every time you do one of these. So that's
Exactly.
awesome.
What do we want to do for the raid message? Elite Four raid?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Elite
Represent.
Four raid. If you have any emotes from anyone in the group right now, go ahead and use them. But that is going to be the raid message. Like I said, if you have the Stepho attack, or if you have 4th gen hype or JPP hype or anything, I gotta get all mine in there. Wait, is that oh my god, I forgot. You have
Yeah.
Q.
That's so good.
Okay, there we go. I think I'm ready. All right, guys, we're gonna go on an Elite Four raid. Thank you guys so much for hanging with us and joining us in this beautiful discussion. We'll be back with another podcast for the month of April. I'm so excited for that. All right, guys, we'll see y'all next time. Wait, I need to do the raid commands.
Bye.
Goodbye forever.
Bye.